Hello, Bay Area real estate broker Chris Simone here. If you've been on our buyer benefit website, you've noticed we have all these individual videos covering various topics of how we help our buyer clients win. In this particular video, I have stitched all of these individual videos together into one long video for anyone adventurous enough to want to watch all of them one after another. If that's you, you might want to grab some popcorn, sit back and relax, and welcome to our video. Today's video is an introduction so you can learn a little bit more about us and also an overview of the different techniques we use to help our buyers find great opportunities for buying their next home either on the market or off market. Welcome to our video. Here's what this video covers. I'm going to tell you who we are, share with you what typical agents do to help their buyers. We'll talk a little bit about average versus exceptional results and what makes us different, along with how you can get access to everything we do, and for those who stick around, a special bonus. My name is Chris Simone. I'm a real estate broker. My wife, Francine, is also a real estate agent. We both grew up in the Bay Area, and together we make up the Simone team. I have a technical background in engineering, used to work in high tech, and both of us also have business degrees. We were both licensed in 1999, so we've been helping buyers and sellers throughout the Bay Area for more than 25 years now. Sometimes people ask me what's the difference between an agent and a broker. So what I can tell you is that in order to become a broker, one needs to have a certain amount of experience, and there's many additional classes that need to be taken. And there's also an additional state exam that needs to be passed in order to become a broker. So what I usually tell people is that you can think of a broker as somebody having a master's degree in real estate. We also do have some additional agents that work with us to help serve our clients. Working with so many buyers and sellers throughout the years have given us the opportunity to create some truly innovative approaches to help our clients with all their real estate needs. Specifically in this video, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of 12 unique buyer techniques that we use to help our buyers win. Over the years, I've personally completed over 350 transactions for our real estate clients, and this allows us to consistently rank in the top couple percent of all active agents in the Bay Area. If you're wondering where we work, here's a quick map showing many homes we've helped our buyers and sellers with throughout the last several years. You can see we have a heavy concentration in the South Bay, but we also go up the East Bay, up the peninsula, south to Santa Cruz, MorganHill, Gilroy, and really wherever we're needed throughout the Bay Area. Whenever you're researching a real estate agent to try and find a little bit more about their background, and maybe you're thinking about using them for their services, I suggest one place you can look is on Zillow. If you go on Zillow and you find this Find an Agent tab, you can click on that and you can put the name of any real estate agent and you can find them there and you can find out things about them. So for example, you can look at what past clients have to say about them, what kind of reviews they have, what have past clients had to say about the service that this particular agent is providing. You can also look to see how many lifetime sales Zillow thinks they've done. In our case, this number is lower than what we've actually done. That's because Zillow doesn't know about homes that are sold off the market. Zillow only knows about homes that are sold through the MLS. You can also see the range of what properties an agent has helped their clients purchase or sell. And so you can see here with us that we help our buyer clients and seller clients anywhere from condos to luxury homes. Another good place where you can research potential real estate agents is by going to Yelp and putting their information in there and searching for them. So you can see here that we have nothing but 5-star reviews from happy clients, and that's really our goal, to deliver 5-star service to all of our clients. So let's talk for a minute about what a typical real estate agent does to help their buyer clients. Maybe you've bought a home before, or maybe you've worked with agents before. So tell me if any of this rings true. So what some agents will do is they'll tell you to go visit open houses and let them know if there's anything that you like. And at that point, they would step in and talk to the agent and do some research and things like that. So I can tell you that, especially in our market where oftentimes things are quite competitive, if you're only looking at open houses, and at that point you're talking with your real estate agent and letting them know that you're interested in something, you're putting yourself at a huge disadvantage. And what ends up happening is you're competing with the maximum number of buyers all the time on every house that you're interested in. And when you do that, the only way you're going to get that home is if you are willing to battle amongst the other buyers and pay more than anybody else. So if this is an approach that someone tells you, you're setting yourself up for a challenging home buying process. Some agents will have software to notify you and them immediately when a home comes on the market that meets your criteria. This is useful information to have because homes that go on the market that are good deals are going to sell quickly, so you would want to know about them quickly. Some agents will go out with you only on the weekends to look at homes that you're interested in, and sometimes this is because they might have another job that they do during the week and they're only available during the weekend. Better agents will go out with you on any day of the week. That way, maybe you're seeing homes before other buyers and giving you an opportunity to get in offers before other buyers see the property. But after doing all of these things, most agents really don't know what else to do to help their buyers. I feel like the typical agent falls somewhere on this scale when they're helping their buyers. And I can tell you that most agents don't spend their own money on their buyer clients to try and do anything else to give their buyers an advantage in finding a good property. Here's some quick statistics you might not be aware of. The average active agent in the Bay Area completes 2 or less transactions per year. Using Santa Clara County as an example, there's approximately 20,000 licensed real estate agents in the county. Last year on the MLS, there were approximately 16,000 homes sold in Santa Clara County. Approximately 12,000 agents out of the 20,000 actually completed no transactions last year. And of the 8,000 other agents, I'll call them active agents that did any business, half of them did 2 or less transactions. That means the majority of real estate agents are either inactive or part-time. So a lot of times people know somebody like a neighbor is a real estate agent, or a brother-in-law or sister-in-law, or I have a friend that's a real estate agent. And a lot of times those agents have a full-time job and they just also happen to be licensed, and every once in a while they might do a real estate transaction. It's usually safe to assume that if you're working with an average agent, you're likely to get an average result. Here at the Simone team, we want all of our clients to receive exceptional results. This is what we do full-time and beyond, and we've created some truly unique methods for finding our buyers their dream homes without overspending. In this video, I'm going to give you a high-level overview about 12 unique things that we do to help our buyers win. Other agents do not use these techniques and approaches. It's possible you find some other agent who might do 1 or 2 of these things, but over the 25 years we've been in business, we don't know anyone who does most of what we do. So as I'm sharing these things with you today, I encourage you to ask yourself, has any agent that I've worked with before ever told me about something like this? Or do these sound like unique things that might help me find a home? And I also encourage you to consider the advantage that this gives you in finding your dream home when we implement these various techniques for you. So let me go through this overview of these different techniques that we use. You can find a video on every one of these techniques with much more detail on our website listed here at the bottom. First, we have a secret list of off-market homes. Well, I call it a secret list because nobody else has this list. This isn't a list that we purchase. It's not something that's available to other agents. It's a self-generated list of off-market properties that we know about currently. And you'll see through these various other techniques that we implement for our buyers where these off-market homes are coming from. We have inside access to bank-owned homes. We have, in the last 10 years, sold more bank-owned properties than any other agents throughout the entire Bay Area. We also have some software that identifies all the current bank-owned homes, and we can cross-check those versus what you're looking for and potentially find you a property that way that other buyers and agents don't know about. We have some special software that identifies all the homes that are in pre-foreclosure and distress with notice of defaults. And again, we can use that information to reach out to those homeowners for properties that look like they might meet your criteria and see if anybody's interested in selling off market. We have some software that identifies all the homes that have liens and delinquent property taxes that we can go after on your behalf. We have software that identify all the off-market vacant homes in the county, and we can go after those homeowners who might be motivated. Here's another technique that I've never heard any other agents going after, is that we have some software that identify hundreds, even thousands of homes throughout the county that have been inherited in the last 2 years and might be ripe for off-market buying opportunities for our buyer clients. We have a direct marketing program where we reach into the neighborhoods that you're interested in to try and find homeowners that have the exact home you're looking for to see if they might be interested in selling before they go on the market. I have a background in technology, which has allowed me to create some software myself that no other agents have to identify homes that are undervalued, that are on the market, and gives us a starting place to look at to try and find good deals throughout the market. We also have some software that we developed that we call our Best of Zillow and Best of Redfin. And what that does is it looks at all the homes that are on the market, looks at the list price, and compares it to the Zillow estimate or the Redfin estimate, and it looks for the homes that, according to those companies, are the best deals on the market. So we might find homes that are 5%, 10%, 20%, 30% below what Zillow thinks the home is worth or what Redfin thinks the home is worth. Our software actually ranks all of the homes for sale that are on the market from the best to the worst according to Zillow and Redfin. Using that information, it allows us to steer our buyers towards the homes that we should look at right away, because according to those websites, these look like they're underpriced and going to sell very quickly. We've helped dozens and dozens of our clients with online home auctions. In fact, we're pretty sure we've completed more online home auctions for our clients than any other agents throughout the Bay Area. Most agents and buyers don't know that they can buy a home through an online auction. It's kind of like buying a home on eBay. Most other agents have never completed an online home auction, and there's a lot of potential pitfalls in buying a home this way. But with our experience, we can help guide our buyers through the process if that's something they're interested in. We also have some high-tech digital targeting marketing that we do for our buyer clients to, once again, try to get homeowners who are thinking about selling their home to raise their hand and let us know before their home goes on the market. We belong to a secret agent network. I say secret because most agents don't even know that this network exists. The reason why they don't know that this network exists is that in order to be invited into this network, you have to be verified in the top 10% of producing agents in the county. Being a member of this secret agent network gives us some inside information to things going on in the market and just gives us more opportunities for our buyer clients. So let me pause for just a second here. And I just rattled off over a dozen ways where we help our buyers find off-market opportunities, where we're not competing with other buyers and other agents, and are ways that we help our buyers create exceptional results. Have you heard about many of these techniques or any of these techniques? Have you worked with agents that are using these techniques? Can you see how working with a team who brings these opportunities to you through these techniques would be a benefit for your home buying experience? As far as we know, we're the only real estate team in the area offering all of this. And I can tell you that truly we're happy to do this for our buyer clients. This is what we do to help our buyer clients win. This is what we do to help our buyers try and get the best deal possible. So continuing on with our overview, on our website we have a video that talks about our $2,500 home buyer protection plan. So this is something that we offer when you're buying a home so that we can make sure you're protected with proper inspections and warranties before you're buying a home and after you become the new homeowner. We're so confident with all these techniques that we use to find our buyers extra opportunities to purchase a home that we even have a guaranteed home finder program. Generally speaking, what this is that if we can't find you a home and get you into contract within 45 days, we're going to give you a $2,500 rebate on your purchase. We even have a happiness guarantee. So what this is if you buy a home with us and you decide later that you're not happy, we will sell your home and charge you nothing and help you buy another home that you will be happy in. Also on our website, we have a great video on how to interview any potential buyer agent. So we have a buyer agent questionnaire that I think you'll find interesting and very useful when you're trying to evaluate how good of a job you think a buyer agent might do for you. In another video, we tip our hat to all the other great agents out there. There are many other great agents out there, and we truly are just advocates for buyers and sellers having exceptional representation. So whether that's with us or with another great agent, we just want to make sure that you're protected and you end up with a positive experience and an exceptional result. If you happen to have a home that you need to sell, we have a video on there about some things that we can do to help you with that. We've got a video with miscellaneous information and frequently asked questions. Where do we work? How much do we charge? Things like that. If after going through all these videos, you're still not sure what you should do, we have a video with a few different scenarios that you might find helpful. The next video you'll find on our website, This Could Be You. I really encourage you to check this video out. It sort of answers the question of what exactly would it be like if you were working with us as clients. It takes you through step by step the approach that we would use to get you ready and positioned so that we can find you the best possible home in the shortest amount of time for the least amount of money. You really don't want to miss this video. Are you a buyer that's been house hunting for quite a while and you're tired of bidding wars? We've got a video just for you. In that video, you're going to find out how all the techniques we use to find you a home can help you avoid a situation where you're bidding against anybody. And finally, there's a video on our website about buyer agent fees. I'm sure you're aware of all the changes that have been going on in the real estate industry and now how buyers are responsible for their agent fees and what does that mean? Well, we've got a video that helps cover all of that and tells you how we handle those in a way that's favorable to you as our buyer client. All of these videos can be found on our buyer benefit website, howourbuyerswin.com. I encourage you to go and check out each one of those. They go into much more detail about these different techniques we use to help our buyers find off-market properties, how we help our buyers find good deals, how we help create situations where our buyers are not in bidding wars, and ultimately, how we help our buyers create an exceptional home buying experience. All these things we use to try to help you save time and money. Now, here are a few more important things worth mentioning. So buyers, if you're currently working with another agent, I hope they're a great agent. I hope you're happy with them, and I hope everything works out beautifully for you. But I hope if you get to a point where you might want to try out a different approach, feel free to reach out to us. I want to point out that for any off-market unlisted properties that we're going after for you, we are only representing you. We're not representing the seller, and that's extremely important. If we were representing the seller, we would honestly have to tell the seller, hey, don't sell this off market. Let's put it on the market. Let's expose it to hundreds of buyers. Let's get a bidding war going. So it's really important for you to know that when we're going after off-market properties for you, we're only representing you. That way we can try our hardest to get you the best deal. Not the best deal for the seller, the best deal for you, the buyer. It's also important for me to point out that we help buyers all the time, of course, with homes that are on the MLS. Most of the homes do go on the MLS, and we do have some special techniques that will help save you money and save you time when we're going after those homes. We have approaches for homes that are on the market that make it so that you can still get a better than average deal when you're buying a home that's on the market. After hearing about all the different techniques that we use, you might be wondering, what is all this going to cost you? Well, I'm happy to say that we still have approaches that we take with the seller and with our contracts to basically make it so that the seller is still paying our fee. There are some techniques that a lot of agents use, which might make it so that the seller still pays the buyer agent fee. We use those, of course, and when necessary, we even have some advanced techniques to try and get the seller to still pay our fee. So I would say now more than ever, with all the changes going on in the real estate industry, it's very important for you to be working with an agent that understands all those ins and outs. If you visit our website or our YouTube channel and you watch some of our other videos on the various techniques that we use to try and find our buyer clients discounted off-market home buying opportunities, I think what you will actually realize is that working with us, you could potentially even save tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're a real estate investor and you're watching this video, I can tell you that if you're buying rental properties to buy and hold, we can help you out and we can use these various techniques. If you are looking for opportunities where you can flip homes, here's a link. Please visit there and follow the instructions and we can reach out to you. A couple important points worth mentioning for those of you who are home sellers. I want to point out that this video and the website where we have all those other videos are primarily focused on unlisted off-market home buying opportunities for our buyer clients. We generally do not sell our regular listings to our buyer clients, and this is very important. If you're selling a home, you want an agent who is going to maximize the exposure of your home, and you want an agent who's going to maximize the sale price of your home. And we do have many techniques for doing exactly that when we're representing a seller. But you can see that those are in conflict with the goals of a home buyer who wants to get a home for the lowest price possible. So when we're hired by a seller, we help the seller. When we're hired by a buyer, we help the buyer. And that's very important to know. And that's why typically the homes that we list are not the homes that our buyers end up buying. You've probably noticed from this video that we have all sorts of special techniques that we use to help our buyers achieve their goals. Well, likewise, when we represent sellers, we have unique and effective techniques to help our seller achieve their goals, which are usually maximizing the home's exposure and maximizing the home sale price. I can share many home selling examples with you where we sold our listings for quite a bit more than what the local comps were showing, making for some very happy seller clients. If your situation is you have a home that you need to sell before you buy your next home, I understand that that can be a tricky situation. You don't want to sell your existing home until you know where you're moving into. But especially in the competitive Bay Area real estate market, if you're trying to buy a home and we put in an offer and it says, but it's contingent upon selling your existing home, a lot of times the sellers won't accept those types of offers because they have other buyers who don't have that contingency. Well, I can tell you that the techniques that we use that also go after off-market properties, when we find a home that you're interested in buying off-market, a lot of times those sellers are not as concerned about whether you have a home to sell or not. In fact, the fact that we don't have any other buyer competition on that home that you want to buy that we help you find, it makes it so that that home seller is much more likely to allow you to have a contingent upon the sale of your existing home as part of the contract. So with the strategies that we have, it actually can help you with your overall transition into a new home. So if you do happen to have a home that you're thinking about selling and you want to try and sell it for top dollar, you can always feel free to reach out to us on our website and book a call, and we'd be happy to talk with you or meet with you and see if we can be of assistance to help you achieve all your real estate goals. On this video, I'm going to tell you about our secret list of off-market homes and how sometimes we can quickly find our buyers a great price on an off-market property. Welcome to the video. This video is going to cover why off-market homes for sale can be an amazing opportunity. I'm going to tell you about our secret list of off-market homes, where they come from, show you maps with where they're located, give you a real-life example, how you can get access to them, and if you stick around to the end, even a special bonus. First, a lightning quick introduction. My name's Chris Simone. I'm a real estate broker. My wife Francine's also a real estate agent. We've been licensed since 1999, doing this for over 25 years, helping hundreds of buyers and sellers. Here's a map showing pinpricks of homes that we've helped our buyers and sellers with over the last several years. If you want to see an in-depth introduction video, you can find that on our website. Okay, let's get started. So why are off-market homes an amazing opportunity? Well, let me give you several reasons. First, there's no other buyer competition. So imagine this. If you've been looking for a home before, if you've been competing with buyers, if you've been involved in bidding wars, you understand how competitive the market can be, especially for the homes that you seem to fall in love with. You know, those are the homes that are the beautiful homes. Well, of course, everybody falls in love with them. Those are the homes that seem to be listed at a very attractive price. And so when you go to the open house, there's 50 other buyers there fighting over the same home. So with off-market properties, we don't have this competition because other buyers and agents just don't know that these homes are available for sale. Another good thing is that these homes that are off-market don't have a listing agent. This is helpful for us for a number of reasons, but mostly it means that we're dealing directly with the home seller and they aren't typically as skilled as a listing agent when it comes to selling their home. Another thing that's nice is when we're buying an off-market home with one of our buyer clients, there's no listing agent commission. So why is that important? Well, actually, one of the reasons why a home seller might be talking with us is because they think, oh, good, I can sell my home without a listing agent and I can save money because I don't have to pay a listing agent commission. Well, I can tell you the fact of the matter is the seller is actually not the one that saves the listing agent commission. When we help our buyers purchase a home off market, the savings always goes to our buyer. If you're curious as to why that is, feel free to ask me when we get a chance to chat. Another nice thing about off-market homes is they never have upfront disclosures and inspections. Now this might sound a little counterintuitive. If you've been shopping for a home before, or if you've bought and sold homes in the Bay Area, you know that most experienced listing agents, they'll have a complete disclosure package with home inspection, termite inspection, roof, pool, all of the other required disclosures, the seller disclosure paperwork, questionnaires, things like that. They'll put all that together up front. And what that does for homes that are on the market is that it gives the buyer a chance to look at all that stuff before putting in an offer. And if you've been doing this for a while, what you quickly learn is that the offers that seem to always get accepted when there's a competitive buyer environment are offers that have no contingencies or no inspection contingency. So that's not a good thing for you as the buyer. That's actually a good thing for the homeowner. So on these off-market homes, I've never once come across an off-market home for sale that has all the reports and disclosures. So what it means is if we end up submitting an offer and it gets accepted, we absolutely are going to have our inspection contingency. So let's say we get into contract at a great price as far as we're concerned. Then the next step is we're going to conduct all the inspections. And when we get those reports back and it says, hey, there's $10,000 in termite damage, or hey, the roof is at the end of its life, or hey, there's some water damage on the floor underneath the kitchen. On all of those things, we're going to be able to then go to the homeowner and say, hey, look, you know, we gave you an offer at a certain price. That was before we knew about all these problems. So obviously now that we see there's, let's just say, $30,000 in damage or $30,000 in expected upcoming repairs, it's quite natural for us to give them an adjustment to our offer saying, hey, we'll move forward if you agree to reduce the price by this $30,000 or, you know, whatever it ends up being. There's some negotiations that get to happen and we get to negotiate the offer that already was a great price into something even better. So that's why having no upfront disclosures and inspections is something that creates a good opportunity for us and our buyers. Another thing about buying a home off market is it allows our purchase offer to be more flexible with regards to the terms. So what do I mean by that? Well, when a homeowner only has our offer and they don't have 4 other offers to compare it against, then terms on our offer don't stick out as being different or worse than someone else. So let's say you wanted to have a longer close of escrow. Well, a homeowner selling their home off market a lot of times won't care. Sometimes things like lower down payments and a higher loan amount, that won't raise any flags because, again, a homeowner doesn't have anything to compare our offer against. Here's another thing. If you have a home that you need to sell before buying, we can put a contingency in our offer that says our purchase offer is contingent upon you selling your existing home. So that's something that might be hugely advantageous to you. And if you're trying to get a home that's on the market where you're competing against other buyers, something like that will never fly with a homeowner. They won't accept our offer like that. But if we're talking about an off-market home for sale, then a lot of times the homeowner isn't even in that much of a hurry. I mean, after all, their home's not on the market. And so if we say, hey, we want some time to get your home sold, a lot of times it's not a big deal to them. So that's what I mean by allowing more flexible terms in our purchase contract. One other thing that usually is the case with off-market homes is the sellers are somewhat motivated. Sometimes they're hugely motivated. You know, if somebody is willing to sell their home without putting it on the market, a lot of times they understand that they're not going to get the full exposure to the number of buyers and agents, and therefore they should expect to get a lower sale price. Sometimes the reason why homeowners are selling off market is because they value convenience more than they do the total sale price of their home. All of these things lend themselves to us typically being able to get a very good deal when we can find off-market homes for our buyers. The summary of all this is buying off-market can result in less stress, more control, and a below-market purchase price. We've helped many home buyers get their homes for 5 to 25% or more below market, saving them literally hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let me tell you more about our secret list. First, it's self-generated. What do I mean by that? Well, you can't purchase a list of off-market homes for sale. Believe me, I've looked. It's not out there. But even if you could buy such a list, it wouldn't be very valuable because it would be sold to hundreds of agents and they would tell hundreds or thousands of buyers, and you basically would end up having lots of competition. So it would be almost like having the home on the market anyhow. So our list is completely self-generated. We make it ourselves. Our list usually has over 100 off-market homes at any time. Also, our secret list is used exclusively with just our buyer clients. An important note, absolutely no other agents have access to our list. That would sort of defeat the purpose of having the list. But I can tell you that certainly doesn't stop other agents from trying. I get agents reaching out to me asking if they can get a copy of the list or if I can tell them about homes in certain cities. Sometimes I'll have buyers reach out to me and say, well, can you just send me your secret list so I can look to see if there's anything on it? No, I'm sorry. You'll see in this video and all the videos on our website, all the things that we do to find these homes that are off market and for sale, and it's not easy. There's lots and lots of things that we do. It takes us a lot of time to find these off market homes, and it costs us a lot of money out of our own pockets to identify these potential bargains for our buyer clients. So you might be wondering, where do these off market homes come from? Well, first, let me tell you where they don't come from. So these are specifically not coming soon homes that are on the MLS. You may or may not know, but there's a category on our MLS where agents can post their listings that are coming up into a category called coming soon. And once they do that, all the agents and all the buyers can see them. So it's kind of like a pre-market list of homes that are coming soon. So I do need to give you a warning. My personal feeling is that these coming soon homes are literally among the worst homes you can possibly go after. So why do I say that? Well, first off, they're listed by an agent. So that agent knows what they're doing, and they're in the process of getting the home ready, and they know how to expose it to tons of buyers, and they know how to get it in front of lots of agents. And so this home is usually pretty close to actually going on the official market. So At this point, a home seller is really far along the process of getting their home on the market. They've spent maybe weeks or months preparing their home to put it on the market, and it's just around the corner. It's coming soon. And so it's in this status of coming soon. And let me ask you, if you were that home seller and somebody approached you and said, "Hey, I want to buy your home," do you think you would have gone through all of that effort and then accept a low offer from a buyer? No, at that point, before it goes on the market, pretty much the only reason a home seller would be interested in your offer is if you gave them an offer that's too good for them to pass up. Your offer would have to be so good that they are willing to bypass letting all the other buyers see it, and they decide they just want to accept your amazing offer. Well, guess what? It's going to be an amazing offer for the seller, not an amazing offer for you. That's why I think coming soon homes are not good properties to go after. Also, sometimes when homes are in the coming soon status, the listing agent and the seller will actually have it listed at an elevated price. And so once again, they're trying to entice buyers by saying like, "Hey, if you're willing to pay this price for it, we might consider selling it before it goes on the market." Again, why would you want to participate in such a lopsided scenario? I don't recommend it for my buyers. So let me tell you where these off-market homes do come from. So there's a lot of different ways we try and find off-market homes for our buyer clients. Once we know what your home buying criteria is, what zip code you want, what city, what school district, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, stories, what square footage, how big a lot size, we start going after several different categories of homeowners to try and find you exactly that type of home. So here's some of the ways we do that. We have a direct mailing campaign that we initiate for each of our buyer clients. So this is reaching out to homeowners in the exact area that you're interested in to see if any of them are looking to sell their home. So we send out thousands of letters and postcards every month for our various buyers, and this results in home sellers reaching out and saying, "Yes, we're thinking about selling." We also sometimes have bank-owned listings, but on top of that, we have special software that identifies all the existing bank-owned homes in any city or county. We have special software that identifies all the pre-foreclosure and distress properties that are in the market. And again, we can contact those homeowners to see if they're interested in selling off-market. We have software that identifies homes that have liens or are delinquent properties. Special software that will show us homes that have been inherited within the last 2 years throughout the county. A lot of times people who inherit homes are just looking to sell them in the most convenient way possible. We also have software that identifies vacant homes throughout the county. We're very familiar with online auction websites. We've actually helped dozens and dozens of our clients with online auctions. There's some high-tech digital marketing that we do to identify off-market properties. There's also a few other secret techniques that we use, but we can't mention everything here and give away all of our secrets. So some we have to keep to ourselves. So let me ask you, have you heard of other agents using all of these techniques to try and find off-market homes for their buyer clients? I know for a fact that most agents don't do any of these things for their home buyer clients. But these are the things that we focus on to try and give you a huge advantage. We actually have a video describing each of these techniques on our buyer benefit website that you can check out if you'd like to learn more details. So there's a very important point worth mentioning is that we can find off-market opportunities for our buyers in any neighborhood or zip code. So once we know what your criteria is, we go after homes that meet your exact criteria. Let me give you a quick example to show you how this secret list gets created. So we had some buyer clients that we met at an open house, and we agreed to take them on as clients. They were looking for a home in San Jose, specifically in the Willow Glen or Cambrian areas. So it was actually across 3 different zip codes. We knew exactly what they were looking for. They were looking for a single family, single story home that was at least 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, and at least 1,400 square feet on at least a 6,000 square foot lot. So we used the techniques I showed you on the last slide, and we contacted over 1,100 homeowners with that exact home in those 3 zip codes. And what ended up happening was we got 7 homeowners that raised their hand and said, yes, we're interested in selling our home. So none of these homes were on the market, and we were literally the only agent and only buyers that knew that these homes were available. So then what we do is we took our buyer clients and we went and looked at all these homes. Well, they ended up falling in love with one. We put in an offer, they bought it. We got that home for them for 14% below market, and that was a great outcome for my buyer. But that's not the point I'm trying to make here. So you remember I told you there were 7 homes that we identified and our buyers bought one of them. So that means there's 6 other homes that they didn't buy. Well, those 6 homes go onto our secret list of unlisted homes. So that's an example of how we build our list. It gets built when we're looking for your exact home. You can only buy one of them, so any other homes go onto our list. So then future buyers that we take on as clients, we can start by looking on our list. Maybe we already have the perfect home for them on our secret list. So there's an important takeaway here, and if you remember just one thing from this video, you should remember that it's not about the secret list, it's about how we make the list that becomes a benefit to our buyer clients. So here's a map showing our current list of homes that we know about that are off market and available for sale. I should say likely available for sale. This list changes all the time. Sometimes the homes that we learn about that are off market end up going on the market later, or sometimes they get sold off market, or sometimes a seller changes their mind. So you have to understand that our list is always changing. We're always adding more homes to our list, and other homes are falling off the list. So we try to keep our list as updated as we can. So this shows Santa Clara County. Also, if we look a little further in the county, we see that there's some homes in MorganHill and Gilroy we know about. There's also homes we know up the peninsula in San Mateo County and over in South Alameda County as well. So let me share a real life example of how we use this list. So here's Matt and Lindsay. These are some buyer clients that we met. And before we met them, they were working with another agent. They were writing strong offers over the asking price. They were right in the thick of competition with all the other buyers. Sometimes they even offered more than anyone else and still didn't get their offer accepted. How do they know that? Well, they had been searching for a home so long that the homes they missed out on actually went into escrow, and 30 days later they closed, and so they could actually look back and see what the home actually sold for. So they actually had offered more money on some of them and they didn't get accepted. One of Matt and Lindsay's biggest problems was they were using 100% financing. So they had no money down and they were getting a loan for 100% of the house. So when they're competing against other buyers and a homeowner has multiple offers, your offer doesn't look great when it's 100% financing. So they were house hunting for 6 months, still didn't get an offer accepted, and they were frustrated and ready to give up. And that's when we met and we agreed to take them on as clients. So the first thing we did was we told them how to strengthen their loan situation. Even though they were getting 100% financing, we have a technique that allows our buyers who are purchasing a home with a loan to strengthen their loan situation so that when we submit offers, their loan actually looks kind of like an all cash offer. It removes the loan from being an issue at all. If you're buying a home with a loan, I'd be happy to tell you how to do that as well. So then we looked on our secret list. And so although this is our current list, this is an example of what we did. So they were looking for a home in central San Jose. And so what we did was we looked at these homes that were in the area that they were interested in, and we compared the criteria they were looking for, single family home, certain number of bedrooms and bathrooms. We compared it to what we already had on our secret list, and we found them a perfect home. In fact, it was a larger home than they were looking for, had an extra bedroom and had more square footage. But what kind of home buyer isn't going to like that sort of home, right? This home that we found them, it was off market. It had an out of town landlord, and they had renters in the property who were behind on rent. So I don't know about you, but to me, that sounds like a motivated homeowner who wants to sell their property. And that's exactly what they were. They were looking for 6 months, 180 days without being able to get in contract. And from the time they signed up with us, within 48 hours, they were in contract on their dream home. I guess that's probably the best example I can give of the power of our secret list when we already know about a home that meets your exact criteria, like in this situation. So we ended up closing on this home about 45 days after we got into contract. It was a single family home in San Jose, and they got it for 28% below market, saving a bundle. So the bottom line to all of this, we use this unique approach of our secret list of unlisted homes, actually a collection of all of our techniques to create a secret list of homes for our buyer clients. It gives them access to off-market homes and creates opportunities for exceptional results. Off-market properties usually result in a pretty big discount for our buyers. This can save you time, it can save you money, and it's just another way we help our buyers win. On this video, I'm going to tell you about our inside access to bank-owned listings and our ability to search for bank-owned properties. Welcome to our video. The first thing we should probably talk about is why you should even care about bank-owned homes. Well, let me ask you, have you ever heard of somebody, a friend or coworker who got a bank-owned home? Many of you probably have. And when you hear those stories, it's usually associated with someone who got a good deal on a property and they bought it from the bank. Most people have probably never stopped to think why it's even possible to get a good deal from a bank. So I'm going to share some information with you here that will help explain why. When a typical homeowner wants to sell their home, like let's say, for example, if you were wanting to sell your home, just about every homeowner has the same number one priority. They want to sell the home for the most money possible. That makes sense. Well, let me give you some insider information. Banks are unusual home sellers. What do I mean by that? Well, first let's think about how a bank becomes a homeowner. A bank had a loan with a homeowner. That homeowner stopped making payments, and eventually the bank had to foreclose on that homeowner. When they do that, oftentimes the bank now becomes the owner of the house. So instead of the bank having a loan, they have a house. Well, banks aren't really in the business of being homeowners. They're in the business of writing loans. And so the banks just want to get rid of these properties. In fact, when a bank owns a home as an asset, they're not making money on that property. They really would much rather have a loan out where they're collecting interest. So they really just want to get rid of this house. They want to sell it so that they can use that money and write more loans. There's several other things that make a bank an unusual home seller. For one, most of the time, banks are publicly traded companies. That means they have a stock price. They have shareholders. They have a board of directors. They have balance sheets. They have to worry about their books. These are not things a normal homeowner thinks about. Another thing most people don't know is that oftentimes when banks have mortgages out there with customers, they might have insurance to protect them against a foreclosure in the future. So what does that mean? Well, that means now that the home has been foreclosed, if they resell it and the bank actually loses money, then the insurance can kick in and make them whole. So for the bank, there's much more motivation to sell the property quickly and get it off their books in a situation like that, where they're going to be made whole one way or the other. So oftentimes the banks are really just looking to move these homes. Most agents have never listed a bank-owned property. They've never been a listing agent for the bank. And most have never even helped a buyer purchase a home from any bank. So what about us? Well, of course we made a video, so probably I'm going to tell you about some things that we do with bank-owned homes. Let me first show you a little bit of background. In the last 12 years, we've personally bought or sold more bank-owned homes than any agents were aware of in the entire Bay Area. On this map here, each one of these pinpricks is a bank-owned property that we were involved with. We have some special software that we can run in any zip code, city, county, and it shows us all the bank-owned homes. We also have relationships with banks and also mortgage servicing companies, and from time to time they give us listings that they want us to help sell for them. I can tell you that sometimes there's some really amazing deals to be had with bank-owned properties. Sometimes they're sold vacant, sometimes buyers can purchase these with loans, and sometimes they're beautiful. Other times you need to watch out. There's a lot of things that can go wrong with bank-owned properties as well. Sometimes the previous owner's in there, sometimes there's squatters in there. Sometimes these homes need to be purchased with an all-cash buyer. So when going after these properties, you really need to have someone who knows the ins and outs. When we run our software in Santa Clara County, now we can run this in any county, but as an example in Santa Clara County, we can see that currently there's 34 bank-owned homes that are out there. And these homes currently aren't on the market. So let me tell you what we can do with this information. Let's say you were looking for a home in this particular area here. Well, if any of these bank-owned homes matched your criteria, we know how to reach out to those banks and see if they might be interested in selling off-market to you. It's just another thing we do to try and find off-market opportunities for our buyers. Let me share with you a few examples. So this first example is one of our buyer clients, Eric. So we had a $2 million bank-owned listing that we had assigned to us, but it was not yet on the market. This was a home that Eric was very much interested in. So as I mentioned before, banks are unusual sellers. So in this example, the bank told us to keep the home off the market, and ultimately they were going to have us sell it through an online auction platform, but not yet. So what we did was we had to get our buyer positioned and ready to strike as soon as the opportunity presented itself. After a couple of weeks, finally there was a small window that opened up. So let me tell you what happened in this situation. So the bank instructed us to put the home on an online auction platform. This was before they told us to put it on the MLS. As soon as the home went on the online auction platform, because I know how these things work, we knew that we could actually submit a pre-offer through the online auction platform and the bank would take a look at it. So that's what we did. We submitted a pre-auction offer to the bank. Then while the bank was thinking about it, they told us to put it on the MLS, so that's what we did. So now we put it on the market. Within 1 hour of this property going on the MLS, the bank accepted our offer, which was for $1,470,000. So we helped this buyer get the property for more than $500,000 below market. This was a 26% discount. Now, how do I really know what this home was actually worth? Well, within 4 hours, there was another agent who had their own buyer who contacted me and gave me an offer for $1.95 million for this property, but they were too late. Now, because I was the bank's listing agent, I did tell the bank, hey, we have this other offer for $1.95 million, but they told me exactly what I knew they were going to tell me, which was, sorry, we're already in contract with your buyer, so we're not going to look at any other offers. Again, this kind of shows you why banks are a bit unusual as sellers. So what made the difference between us getting the home or this other agent getting the home? Well, it's having this inside in-depth knowledge of how the banks operate and how all the timing works and how there's sometimes very narrow windows where you can grab these amazing deals. It certainly worked out great for my buyer. Let me tell you about another example. We had another buyer who was interested in a bank-owned property and they asked us about it. So we helped them get into contract on this bank-owned property at an amazing price. Now this was a fixer-upper bank-owned property. This was a buyer who wanted to purchase it and he wanted to remodel it and then turn around and resell it. We were halfway through escrow and all of a sudden he changes his mind. He says, Chris, I don't want this property anymore. How can we get out of the deal? Well, I did tell him, hey, if you want to get out of the deal, here are the steps that we can take. But I had an alternate solution for him. I said, hey, listen, you got to trust me on this. I've got a better strategy for you. let's go ahead and buy the property, and I'll turn around and I'll relist it and we'll resell it immediately. I knew that he was getting a fantastic deal and that when we put it back on the market, good things were going to happen. So that's what we did. So he ended up buying it, and literally the next day I put it back on the market. He didn't clean it, he didn't touch it, he didn't go to the property. Literally nothing was different, and we were now trying to find another buyer for this home. Well, what happened? Let me tell you. We sold it for 62.5% more than he bought it for, and it closed in 30 days. So this literally made him hundreds of thousands of dollars for almost doing nothing. Now, I need to have a little disclaimer here. This was an amazing deal that this buyer of ours got, and I don't want you to think we're going to find something like this for you. This was an amazing situation, and it worked out great for our buyer. I'm sure he didn't think this was going to happen when he started working with this either, but it did. So all I can tell you is the more things like this that we try and do for our buyers, the higher likelihood that something good is going to happen. Let me share with you another example. There was a beautiful home in LosAltos Hills that was bank owned, worth $4.25 million, and our buyer Julie was interested in this property. We were able to help them purchase this property for more than $600,000 below market price, saving them around 15%. So you see, it's possible to find bank-owned homes in just about any neighborhood. So here's the bottom line. We use our unique approach with bank-owned properties. Sometimes we get listings, other time we have access to the homes and we know where to find the bank-owned homes. And we use this information to help our buyers go after bank-owned homes. This creates extra opportunities for exceptional results that we can generate for our buyers. It could save you money, it can save you time, and it's just another thing we do that helps our buyers win. In this video, we're going to talk about pre-foreclosure and distressed properties and how we go after them to try and find off-market opportunities for our buyers. Welcome to our video. The first question we should answer is why you should care about this in the first place. Well, you see, pre-foreclosure and distressed properties are homes where the homeowners have been not making their mortgage payments and their banks have taken notice. The banks have started filing notice of defaults, and also, if it goes on long enough, the banks will threaten with a foreclosure auction, also known as a trustee sale. This is where the bank literally auctions off the property and takes it away from the homeowner. So what does this mean? Sometimes these homeowners are motivated sellers. They might be looking to sell their home because they need to get out of the situation that they're in. Most agents don't pay attention to these types of properties, and they have no way of locating them or finding them. But what about us? Well, we've got some special software, and what this software allows us to do is it allows us to perform searches in any zip code, in any city, in any county, and identify all the homes that are in pre-foreclosure or in distress. So what this does is it allows us to create off-market opportunities for our buyers. Sometimes using this approach, we can get some pretty awesome deals for our buyers. So let's take a look at the homes that our software identifies. When we search for pre-foreclosure homes, these are homes that have foreclosure auctions coming up within the next 60 days. This is using Santa Clara as an example. We can see that currently there's 21 homes that fall into that category. Oftentimes there's a lot more than this. These are homes that are not on the MLS. Other agents, other buyers are unaware that there's anything going on these properties. If we look at homes that are in distress that have notice of defaults filed against them, there's always going to be a lot more of these. Currently, there's 156 homes in the area that are software identified, and you can see them located here on the map. We have, of course, the address and all the home details, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, lot sizes, things like that. Oftentimes there's a lot more than this, but this is how many there were when we ran it for this video. I should point out these are not pocket listings. In fact, they're not listings at all. If you drove down the street and looked at this house, you wouldn't notice anything strange going on at all. So that means other agents and buyers have no idea that there's anything going on these properties. So let me explain what we can do with this information. Let's say you were looking for a home in this area here. Well, we would know how many bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage you want in a property that you're looking for, and we can cross-check it with all the homes that are in distress or pre-foreclosure. And once we do that, we have a very unique way of notifying those homeowners, reaching out to them, and seeing if any of them are interested in selling. When we do this, we usually get some homeowners to raise their hand and say, yes, we'd be interested in selling. When that happens, you and I will go and we'll look at these properties and see if it's something you're interested in. We already know that the home is in the right area that you want. It's the right number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and square footage. So really it just comes down to condition and price. One thing to keep in mind is we're the only people, you and I, who know that this house is even for sale in this kind of a situation. So there's no other buyers, there's no competition. That's why oftentimes we can get a good deal on a property like this. If the homeowner is motivated enough, and if it's a property you like, we usually can get a pretty good deal. Here's a real example of some buyers that we helped. This is Drew and Maria. Before we met, they were just starting their home search. They had lots of questions and they were really unsure if they could even find a home in their price range. Then we met. The first thing we did was strengthen their loan situation. Now that really has nothing to do with these pre-foreclosure distress properties, but I'd like to point it out. We have a technique that allows our buyers who are getting loans to put themselves in a position that's better than being pre-approved or pre-qualified. What this allows us to do is when we submit offers, it actually makes your offer look more like an all-cash offer than an offer with a loan. I'd be happy to tell you more about this if you're interested. Then we were able to identify the perfect off-market pre-foreclosure property for them. This was a home in MorganHill, and when I ran the comps, the average comp was $873,000. We were able to get them into this home for more than $200,000 below the comps, so this saved them 24% on their home purchase. So if you're wondering why we use this strategy, this is why. Now I can't say that this is exactly going to happen for you, but what I can tell you is this is what we're going to try to make happen for you. This is why we contact homes that are in pre-foreclosure and distress, just in case we can find you a great property. This is one of our unique approaches for finding off-market properties for our buyers through pre-foreclosure and distress properties. By doing this, we create opportunities for exceptional results for our buyers. Ideally, we can find you an off-market home at a below-market price. This will potentially save you money. It also can save you time. This is just another way that we help our buyers win. Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about how we go after off-market homes that have liens and delinquent property taxes to try and find properties for our buyers. Welcome to the video. We have some special software that can identify homes in any city, zip code, or county that currently have liens or delinquent property taxes. We don't know of any other agents who have this sort of software or use this type of technique to try and find properties for their buyers. This software will identify homes that have federal and state income tax liens, HOA liens, mechanic liens, delinquent property taxes, or legal judgments attached to the property. You can think of these as potentially motivated sellers. After all, if somebody has a lot of liens piling up on their home, perhaps they're struggling financially and maybe their solution is they'd like to sell their home. These are the type of homeowners we'd like to get in front of before they put their home on the market so that we can see if we can get you a good deal. So why is this important? By being able to locate homes off market that are owned by homeowners that are motivated to sell, it gives us properties to show you that are not on the MLS, not on the market, that other buyers and agents will never know about. This is just another one of our techniques we use to try and save our buyers money and find them an off-market discount property. Let me ask you a question. How many homes do you think currently have liens or delinquent property taxes in Santa Clara County? We can run this on any county, but just in Santa Clara County. Well, let me show you. At the time of this video, when we ran our software, we identified over 18,000 homes in the county. You can see them all here. It's quite a few. It's quite a few. Actually, in fact, the homes that you're seeing right here, this is only about 2,000 properties, and we cross-checked the homes with liens and delinquencies to the homes that are also non-owner occupied, which means the owner isn't living in the home. They could be out of state. This could make for an even more motivated home seller. If we were to map all 18,000 homes on one map, it would actually be 9 times more pinpricks on the map than what you're seeing here. So it's quite a few. One thing I should point out is these are not pocket listings. These aren't listings at all. They're not on the market, and nobody else is looking at them in any special way. Let me show you how we might be able to use this information in the software to help our buyers. Let's say you were looking for a home in this area here on the map. So we would find out from you what you're looking for, what your home criteria is. Let's say you want a 4-bedroom, at least 2-bathroom, single story, single family home that's at least 1,500 square feet. Well, we can cross-check it with all the homes that have liens and delinquent property taxes. We have a special way of reaching out to these homeowners and seeing if they might perhaps be interested in selling their home off market. And so what ends up happening is some of these homeowners who we contact will raise their hand and say, yes, we're interested in selling. So this is what we're going for. When we can make this happen, then you and I are the only people that know these homes are for sale. And so other agents don't know, other buyers don't know. And so now you and I can go take a look at these, and we're not under any pressure. We don't have any other competition from buyers, any other competition from other agents. And we can evaluate the home. If it's something that you're interested, we'll run the comps. We'll put together a comparative market analysis and show you what the home is actually worth. Then we'll decide what kind of offer we want to actually submit to these homeowners. And let me tell you, we're always going to submit a much lower offer than what the home is actually worth, what the home would actually sell for if they took the time to get it ready, put it on the market, and sell it and expose it to all the buyers and agents out there. So when we can find a home like this, it really gives our buyers an advantage for all those reasons. One thing I should point out is, let's say we got 4 homeowners to raise their hand, and let's say you bought one of them, or let's say you didn't buy any of them. Well, what we do is we take all these homes. Now we know about these properties. We'll actually put them on our secret list of unlisted homes, and we can market these to our other buyers because we already know you're not interested in these particular properties. So on our website, we actually have a video that talks more about our secret list of unlisted homes that we have all throughout the county. This is just one of the many ways that we add homes to that secret list. So the bottom line to all this is we're using a unique approach that you're not going to find with other agents. And what it does is it creates off-market opportunities for our buyer clients. So this can potentially save you money. It also can save you time. You know, if you've been searching for a home a long time, looking at just homes that are on the market with all the other buyers out there, maybe you've even submitted offers and got in a bidding war and missed out on homes. This is kind of one of our secret approaches and why finding an off-market property is so worthwhile for our buyers and ultimately helps our buyers win. In this quick video, I'm going to discuss our approach for going after off-market vacant properties to try and find extra opportunities for our buyer clients. Welcome to our video. What if your real estate agent had a way of finding all the vacant properties that are not listed for sale in any city throughout the county? Well, as you probably guessed, we do have that ability here at the Simone team. Let me tell you, vacant homes are ripe for being sold. The reason I say that is because most of the time a homeowner doesn't want a home to just be sitting there empty. So what does it usually mean when a home is vacant? Well, maybe they had a renter in there who has moved out and now the homeowner is getting the property ready to be sold. Or Maybe the homeowner lived in the home and they've bought a replacement home and moved out, and now this home is sitting vacant and they ultimately want to get it sold. Or maybe someone inherited the property and now the home is just sitting there and the homeowner is trying to figure out what they want to do with this property. Well, these are the type of homeowners we want to reach out to on behalf of our buyers to see if they're interested in selling it before they go on the market. This will give our buyers an advantage. We have some special software where we can identify vacant homes throughout the county. So we can find any neighborhood, any zip code, we can run our software and we can find homes that are vacant. Then what we do is if we have a buyer who's looking in that neighborhood, we can actually reach out to those homeowners before they're on the market and let them know that we have a buyer who might be interested in buying the home. So maybe the homeowner was thinking about getting the house ready and they were dreading it. Maybe they have a long to-do list of things to get the home in tip-top shape. And maybe they're not that interested in spending all that time or money doing it. And perhaps they would prefer selling it to a buyer like you. So these are homeowners that we reach out to. I've been a licensed agent in the Bay Area for over 25 years, and I can tell you I don't know any other agents that use this sort of software and this type of approach to go after vacant properties for their buyer clients. So we think this is something unique that we do that gives our buyers an advantage. You might be wondering, why go after these vacant homes? Well, as I mentioned, when a home is sitting vacant, then usually the homeowner is trying to make some decision as to what to do. Maybe they're planning on moving into it. Well, maybe that's why it's vacant. That wouldn't be too helpful for us, but that could be one reason. Or maybe a renter just moved out and they're trying to decide, should we rent this out or should we sell it now? So if we can get in front of these homeowners at this time when the home is vacant, it could be an opportunity for us to get a great home that nobody else knows about at a great price for our buyers. Let me ask you a question. If you were to walk up to a typical real estate agent and ask them, how many off-market vacant homes can you tell me about right now? What do you think would happen? What do you think their answer would be? My guess is they're probably going to give you a blank stare, wondering, why is this person even asking me this question? Well, then I think you'll appreciate that what we're doing here is something that's a little bit different, a little bit unique, a different way of trying to give our buyers an upper hand in finding opportunities that other agents aren't going to find for their buyers. So now maybe you're wondering, how many vacant homes can I tell you about? Well, let me show you. When we run our software in Santa Clara County, we can run this in any county, any city. But when we run it in Santa Clara County, our software identifies over 1,600 vacant off-market homes. These are not homes that are on the market. So each one of these pinpricks on this map represents a home. In fact, what's on this map is only 523 vacant homes, because these are the ones that we also cross-checked to see if the owners of the property are out of town or out of state owners. Well, that just makes these homeowners potentially even more motivated. Somebody who lives out of state and they have a vacant home in San Jose, for example, they probably want to do something with it. So these are the types of home sellers that we want to reach out to on your behalf. So let me give you an example of how we can use this to your advantage. So let's just say you were looking to buy a home in this highlighted area. So you would tell us, hey, Chris, we want a single family home that's at least 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 1,600 square feet, whatever the criteria is. And we would cross-check all of the vacant properties and find the ones that match what you're looking for. And then we have a very unique way of reaching out to the homeowners to see if they might be interested in selling. And what ends up happening is we get some of them to raise their hand and say, yeah, I might be interested in selling my home before we put it on the market. So at that point, you and I will be the only ones who know about this home that is for sale. It's not on the market. And that gives you and I a big advantage in trying to find you a great home at a great price. I already told you that these homes will be exactly what you're looking for in terms of the specs. It's going to be in the correct neighborhood. It's going to have the right number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, things like that. So at this point, you and I will go look at these properties and we can evaluate them without any other buyer competition. So you know how tough it can be to find homes in the Bay Area. And if a great property comes on the market, you might be fighting with 5, 10, 20, 50 buyers to try and get that home. That's the power of these off-market vacant homes, is that we're not competing with anyone. There's also a lot of other reasons why finding a home like this, and if it's something that you're interested in, we can actually get you a very good deal and get you a property for below market price. So what's the bottom line of all this? Well, here at the Simone team, we use a unique approach and we give access to off-market properties to our buyer clients to help give them a huge advantage. This creates opportunities for exceptional results. Does it guarantee we're going to find something off-market? No, of course it doesn't. But we're going to look with this approach. Plus, if you see some of our other videos, we've got a lot of approaches like this. By using an approach like this, it creates opportunities for exceptional results for our buyers. When we find off-market properties for sale, these are potential bargains because we're not fighting with other buyers, other agents over. Only you and I know about these properties that are for sale. This could potentially save you a lot of money, and it can save you a lot of time as well. This is just another one of the techniques that we use to try and help our buyers win. In this video, we're talking about a unique approach we use to go after inherited properties for our buyer clients to try and find them off-market opportunities. Welcome to our video. What if you were working with an agent that had easy access to find all the unlisted, off-market inherited homes in any area throughout the county? Well, as you probably guessed, we do. That's why we're making this video. Homes that have been inherited by people are ripe for being sold. If you think about it, somebody passed away and let's say their kids inherited the property and now they have this extra property that likely they don't need. Oftentimes people who inherit homes don't even live in the area or in the state. And so when they do inherit properties, what do they want to do? A lot of times they just want to sell them in the most convenient way possible. So that's why if we can identify these homes and get in front of these homeowners on your behalf, we might find something special for you. As you can imagine, a lot of these sellers are potentially motivated. Inheriting a home is quite a windfall, so it's not something they were expecting. A lot of times these homeowners just are looking to sell the property and collect their windfall. So to us, this makes them motivated sellers. They're not necessarily looking for the highest price they can possibly get, but maybe they just want to find a buyer who is willing to do a quote-unquote easy transaction and get this home sold. So what we do is, since we can identify these homeowners, we can find the ones that are in the area that you're interested in, so we can reach out to them and see if they're interested in selling. And we can do all of that before they ever think about hiring a listing agent or putting it on the market. So let me ask you, how many homes do you think there are in Santa Clara County that have been inherited over the last 2 years? I say the last 2 years because that's what our software is able to identify. And statistically, most homes that are inherited are sold within 2 years of the people inheriting them. So we want to reach out to those homeowners. We can run our software in any county, but just using Santa Clara as an example, let me show you how many we can find. So when we run our software in Santa Clara County, we can identify over 5,000 homes that have been inherited. You can see we can identify quite a few homes throughout the county. In fact, this map is only showing 1,453 of those inherited homes, and these are the ones that we can cross-check and see that they have absentee owners, which means the person who inherited the home doesn't live at the property, which means they could live out of the area, they could live out of the state, they can even live out of the country. So imagine someone who inherits a property all the way across the country, for example, and it's one of these homes that our software identifies. So let me show you what we do to help you as our buyer client find a great opportunity and maybe your dream home. So let me show you how we use this special approach and this information to help you find your dream home. So let's say you were looking to buy a home in this area here. Let's zoom in actually on this area. We would know from working with you exactly how many bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage that you're looking for in a home. And we can cross-check it to the homes that our software finds that are inherited and not on the market. And when we do that, we have a special way of reaching out to the homeowners who own these properties, and we try and get them to raise their hand and let us know, yes, we're interested in selling. So when we do that, now you and I are the only ones that know that these exact homes are for sale. They're not on the market. Other buyers don't know about them. Other agents don't know about them. And now you and I can go and take a look at them and see if there's something that you're interested in. We already know they're in the right area, the right number of bedrooms, bathroom, square footage, because that's what we searched for. And so when we go and look at these homes, if we can find something that's off market, we're not competing with anybody else. And there's a lot of other reasons why, with these owners potentially being motivated, where we can get you a good deal and save you a great deal of money. It also is something that helps us to find homes faster than most other agents, because we're not only showing you homes that are on the market, but we're also finding homes for you that are off market. And that gives you and I a huge advantage over other buyers and agents. So what's the bottom line of all this? We use this unique approach, once again, to create additional opportunities for exceptional results for our buyer clients. It's something that can help you save money, it can help you save time, and it's just another thing that we do to try and help our buyers win. This video is about direct marketing that we do for our buyer clients and how we use this to find off-market opportunities for our buyers. Welcome to the video. Just another one of the techniques we use here at the Simone team is we actively market on your behalf for your exact home criteria at our expense. So other agents typically do not do this. This costs us thousands of dollars a month that we spend on our buyer clients. It does have a side benefit for us, and I'll share that with you in a few moments. So here's what our direct marketing program actually looks like. So what we do is we start with your exact home buying criteria. Well, you tell us what you're looking for. We want a home in this zip code or this school district, and we want it to be 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and at least 1,700 square feet. Whatever it is, you give us your exact home buying criteria. Then what we do is we pull from the county records all the homes that match your criteria. And then we target a special type of homeowner that we know is statistically more likely to want to sell their home. We have a very unique marketing letter that we send out. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to get homeowners who are thinking about selling their home, but it's not on the market yet. We're trying to get them to raise their hand and say, yes, we're interested in selling to your buyer clients. Almost by definition, these homes will always be off-market homes because we're not going to be sending letters to homes that are on the market. So any one of these homeowners that reaches out to us, you and I are possibly the only people who will know that this home is actually for sale. It's not advertised anywhere. It's not on the market. So other buyers and other agents don't know about it. What does that mean? It means no other buyer competition. As I'm sure you're aware, home buying in the Bay Area is competitive. There's oftentimes lots of buyers interested in the homes that you're interested in, and there's bidding wars, and buyers are wondering, how high over the list price do I need to offer to try and get this home? So on these off-market opportunities, we don't have any of that. In fact, our offer to the homeowner will be the only offer, so they don't have anything to compare it against. This is a great way that we can get homes for our buyer clients at a discounted price. And here's what I can tell you, it's a very effective technique. There's a lot of additional direct marketing that we do for our buyers, and you can find a video on each one of these different categories. We have special software that identifies pre-foreclosures, distressed home, bank-owned homes, vacant properties, inherited properties, homes with liens and delinquencies. And what we will do is we will cross-check your criteria versus the output of the software that we have that identifies all of those homes, and we market to all of those homeowners who are potentially motivated sellers. So add all this up, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to create off-market opportunities for you in front of motivated sellers so that you can get your dream home at a discount price. So let me share a real example with you. We have some buyers, Chris and Tiffany, and before we met them, I would say they were typical home buyers. They were going on the weekend to open houses, and then they were falling in love with a home, and then they would tell their agent at that time, oh, we like this home, can you get more information for us? And then the agent would get more information, and they'd find out that the offers are due coming up, and then they would submit an offer, and they would be involved in bidding wars, and they would be offering $100,000, $200,000 over the asking price, and they were getting outbid every time. As you can imagine, like most buyers would, they were getting very frustrated and they were ready to give up. And that's when we met. They met me at a bank-owned listing that I was doing an open house for, and I talked with them and found out what they were looking for, and we agreed to take them on as clients. So among many other things that we do to help our buyer clients, what we did was we got their exact criteria. They happened to be looking across 3 different zip codes, and we knew exactly how many bedrooms and bathrooms and square footage they were looking for. And what we did was we put together a list of 1,100 potentially motivated sellers, and we sent them all letters trying to get them to raise their hand, announcing, yes, we would be interested in maybe selling our home off market. And when we did that, we actually had 7 of those homeowners respond, telling us, yes, we're interested in selling our home and we're not on the market. Now think about that for a minute. We only sent these letters to the homes that matched their exact criteria. So these 7 homes that we now know about, and we're the only ones that know about, are in the exact location they want. They have exactly the number of bedrooms and bathrooms and square footage. So when I say targeted, this is what I mean. These are targeted homeowners of homes exactly what this buyer was looking for. This is what we do for our buyer clients. Okay, so now we had 7 homes. Then I brought these buyers and we went and we looked at each one of these homes. They fell in love with one of the homes. We negotiated a great price and we got them into contract, and they ended up buying this home for $155,000 below market, which was about 14% below the comps in the neighborhood. In fact, there was a nearly identical home that sold about 3 weeks later that was only about 6 homes away on the same street, and that home sold for $1,120,000. So that's how we know that they actually did save $155,000 buying this off-market property. Now here's a quick side note. I mentioned earlier that when we send out these direct marketing letters and we get homeowners to raise their hand, I told you it had an added benefit for us. So in this example, it sort of illustrates that. We found 7 homeowners who wanted to sell their home, and these buyers could only buy one of the homes. So that meant there's 6 homes left that we know about that homeowners are interested in selling. So we take those 6 homes and we add them to our secret list of unlisted homes in the area. And this way, when we have other home buyers that sign up with us and become our clients, we can share this secret list of unlisted homes with them as well. And maybe their dream home is already one that we know about and we can get you into very quickly. I have a fun update with these particular clients of ours. A few years later, their family was growing, and so they needed a bigger home. And they told me, Chris, we'd like a larger home in the same zip code. So basically they were upsizing their home. And so we ended up putting their home on the market, and with the advanced home selling techniques that we use, we were able to sell their home for $480,000 over the list price, and we shattered the neighborhood record and sold their home for over $2 million. And the really fun part about all this is that we used a different technique to help find their next home, which was larger than the one that we just sold for over $2 million, and we got them that home for less than $2 million. So these people actually upsized their home and they bought their next home for less than what we were able to sell their current home for. So it was really a great overall transition for these clients of mine. So what's the bottom line of all this? Most other agents don't use this sort of technique to find opportunities for their buyers. We use this specialized technique to deliver exceptional results for our buyer clients. And when we're successful, we can hopefully save you a lot of money. This is just another way that here at the Simone team, we help our buyers win. This video is about some proprietary software that we have developed, along with our best of Zillow and Redfin software. Welcome to the video. In a previous life, I had a background in technology. I actually graduated with a computer engineering degree from UC San Diego in the 90s and worked in high tech for a while. When I left that and went into real estate, I thought to myself, how could I use my background in software and programming to benefit my real estate clients? When I left high tech and went into real estate, one of the first things I did was I developed some software that would analyze the entire MLS, and it would identify homes as being good deals or bad deals based on several metrics. And we used to publish this information on a website I had called Bay Area Top 10 Homes. I basically was finding the top 10 best homes in every zip code and every area for my buyer clients, and it would give us a starting place to go look at those homes. Well, I no longer make this information public. It's just one of the things we use to help our buyers with homes that are on the market. I no longer share this information publicly, but it sort of started my journey in helping my real estate clients get exceptional results. Because this is something I developed myself, clearly no other agents had this software. More recently, I decided to create some new software that we could use to help our buyer clients, and I call this software our Best of Zillow software. We know a lot of home buyers like to look on Zillow when they're searching for homes. And of course, one of the things that jumps out at you when you're looking on Zillow is their estimate. The Zestimate is what they call it. And it's what their best algorithms predict the value of a home is. And so what we do with our software is we compare the homes that are on the market. We compare the list price to what the Zillow estimate thinks the home is worth. And it allows us to determine what Zillow thinks are the best deals out there on the market. And so with this software, we can actually rank the entire housing market, all the homes that are in MLS that are for sale, and we can rank them from best to worst. So these are homes that are on the market, and we can use this software as a starting point of where we should look when we're trying to find good deals for our home buyers. As far as we know, there's no other agents that have this software or this type of software. It's something that we created ourselves. It's just another way that we help our buyer clients win and potentially help them get exceptional results. So let me share with you an example from our Best of Zillow software. So this is what the output looks like. It's in a spreadsheet, and this is actual real data from when this video is being generated. And you can see that we have the address and city and all the information about the home. But highlighted at the top, you can see that there's a list price and there's a Zillow estimate. And so based on this, we can see what kind of discount Zillow thinks the home is listed at, and we can actually rank the entire MLS based on what Zillow thinks the homes are worth. So let's say you were looking for a home in San Jose, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. We could look at this home, and Zillow thinks that it's 15.2% undervalued based on its estimate. The list price is $1.2 million, and Zillow thinks it's worth $1,382,000. Between the time that I was putting this information together and the time I'm filming this video, I actually went back and I looked, and I could see that this home actually went pending in 6 days. So it went on the market and it sold very quickly. So you could be sure that it sold for way over the list price. When I actually saw what this home sold for, I saw that it sold for $1,755,000. You can actually go look this property up. You'll see exactly this information. So with this scenario, I can actually give you a very real example of one of the things we do to help our buyer clients and how we can use this sort of information to your benefit. So let's say you were interested in a house like this, and let's say it came on the market on a Tuesday, and we know about it immediately, and we share it with you, and you think, wow, that's exactly the kind of home that I'm looking for. So we actually could go out and look at it on Tuesday or Wednesday. Let's say you fall in love with it. Well, the next thing I would have done is I would talk with the listing agent, I would pull comps, I would figure out myself and share with you, here's what I think this home will sell for. And what I probably would have concluded in looking at all the information and taking this all in, I probably could have told you this home looks like it's gonna sell for way over the asking price. It's probably gonna sell for 1.65 to 1.75, some number like that. And how we can use this to help you win is, let's say you were very interested in this home and it's listed at 1.2 million and we see it on Tuesday or Wednesday, the day of or the day after it goes on the market. Well, I might be able to share all this with you and we might decide, hey, let's put in an offer immediately for, let's say, 1.5 million or 1.55 million, which is $300,000 or $350,000 over the list price. What we're trying to do is we're trying to steal this away from all the other buyers that we know are going to fall in love with this over the weekend, over the open house and all that. And perhaps we get the seller to agree, yes, we'll sell this to you for 1.5 million, and we make it all happen by Thursday. It went on the market on Tuesday and you're in contract on Thursday or Friday before the open house. Basically, we steal it away before all the other buyers find out about it and get into a bidding war and shoot this thing all the way up past 1.7 million. So the seller thinks they got a great deal because they put it on the market at 1.2 and they're selling it to us for 1.5 million, but I have shared the information with you showing you why it's going to sell for 1.6, 1.7 or higher. So you're actually getting it for a much better deal than what it ultimately sold for, which was $1,755,000. So that's kind of an example of how all of this can play out. Recently, we also created another software program, and it's called Best of Redfin. Well, I'm sure you can pretty much guess what this software does. It does the exact same thing that Best of Zillow does. It's just that it does it on Redfin. And so, again, we don't know any other agents that are using this approach to try and find good deals for their home buyers. And when we run the same information through our Best of Redfin software, since it's using Redfin's estimate, not Zillow's estimate, completely different algorithm, who knows exactly how they come up with their value estimate, but this output can be different from the Zillow output. And so, again, very similarly, we look at the list price and we compare it to the Redfin estimate, and we come up with what discount Redfin thinks this property is being listed at. And then we can rank the entire MLS according to what Redfin thinks the true value of these properties are. So again, if you happen to be looking for a home in San Jose, then here are the ones that seem to be listed for the largest discounts according to Redfin. So this could be a good place for you and I to look at and consider going after before all the other buyers and agents are aware that these homes are underpriced. So finally, what we can do with both of these things is we can combine the output by taking the average rank of what Zillow thinks and what Redfin thinks, and we can create a combined list of best of Zillow and Redfin. And again, as an example, if you were looking at homes in San Jose, you could sort of see which ones are the best opportunities. And what's highlighted here as well is that Zillow thinks these properties are discounted 10 to 15%, and Redfin thinks they're discounted 20 to 30%. Basically, what I'm doing is leveraging the algorithms of these companies that are worth lots and lots of money, putting their best engineers to try and calculate what the value of every property is supposed to be. And so we're harnessing that for the benefit of you. What's the bottom line of all this? Well, if you're not working with an agent that uses techniques like this, you could potentially be missing out on some huge savings. This video is about online home auctions and how we can sometimes use online auctions to get our buyer clients the home they're looking for at a great price. Welcome to our video. Did you know that many banks and investors use online auction platforms to sell some of their properties, oftentimes at a discount? Over the last few years, we've even seen quote-unquote normal home sellers choosing to use an online auction platform to try and sell their home. Sometimes the homes that are being sold on the online auctions are on the MLS, but other times they're never put on the MLS. They're just sold through an online auction. Most agents and buyers have never participated in an online auction. They sort of shy away from the unknown, and online auctions to some people can seem a little bit scary. Over the last 12 years, we have actually participated in probably more online auctions than any agents throughout the entire Bay Area. We've participated in over 100 online auctions for our clients. Sometimes I find out when talking with buyers that they have this impression that buying a home through an online auction, you have to pay all cash. But oftentimes that's not the case. I would say it's 50-50. It just sort of depends on the home and who's selling it and what the condition of the property is and things like that. The online home auction process is quite a bit different than a regular home buying process, so there can be a lot more things that you have to watch out for. But I can tell you that because of the fact that most agents and buyers are not looking at these online auction properties that are for sale, what ends up happening is there's a lot less demand, a lot less competition to try and get these homes, and that's why a lot of times they can be purchased at a good price. Knowing how to balance the risk versus reward on these properties is very important. When participating in online auctions, you do need to be careful, and you need to do your homework ahead of time. I have seen some situations where unsuspecting buyers, not my clients, but unsuspecting buyers bid way more than the property is actually worth. I've seen homes sold through an online auction for 30% or more than the true value of the home. That would be bad. But I've also seen other times where homes are selling for 20, 30, 40% below market value, and good deals can be had. But while all this is going on, special care needs to be taken to make sure that you don't fall into any of the pitfalls or traps that can be associated with these sorts of transactions. Because we have the experience doing so many of these online home auctions, we can confidently guide our buyers through the process. When you're buying a home through an online auction, it's kind of like buying something on eBay, if you've ever participated in that. I'm listing here some of the most popular online real estate auction sites. Feel free to go take a look and see if this might be something you're interested in. Each online auction platform has its own little quirks. Sometimes there's little tricks that we can do to help our buyers purchase homes that are being auctioned that they might be interested in. So one secret I can share with you on certain platforms, you can actually purchase the home before the auction even takes place. A lot of people don't know this, and we've helped several buyer clients do exactly that. Another secret I found out just recently, actually, on a new online auction platform that we were on trying to get a property for one of our buyer clients, and that is that you can actually put in an offer after the auction and still have it considered. We actually did this for one of our clients just a few months ago, and we helped them buy a property through an online auction platform at a below market price. I'm sure you can appreciate how us knowing these things and helping our clients can actually give them an advantage over other buyers and agents. Let me share a few examples with you. These are clients that we help purchase homes through an online auction platform. We had one buyer going after a $2 million property that we got it for less than $1.5 million through an online auction. We also assisted one of our buyers buy a property worth more than $4 million, and they got it through an online auction at a price more than $600,000 below what the property was listed at. And one of our clients even bought a home through an online auction for less than 50% of market value, and that was really quite a score for them. Now, this certainly doesn't mean that every home that's being sold through an online auction ends up being a good deal, and many of our buyer clients aren't interested in this at all. But it's just another thing that we have in our back pocket that we can offer to some of our buyer clients that might be interested in pursuing this avenue. So what's the bottom line? Most agents aren't participating in online auctions. We've participated in many, and we use our specialized knowledge to potentially give our buyers an opportunity to purchase their home at a great price. When it's successful, we can save our buyers money. And if you aren't working with an agent that uses these sorts of techniques, you could potentially be missing out on huge savings. This video is about how we use high-tech digital targeting to try and find off-market opportunities for our buyer clients. Welcome to the video. Well, this is going to be a pretty short video because it's actually a pretty simple approach that we take. What we do is we have some social media ads that we run. When we do so, we're targeting off-market homeowners throughout the area. What we're trying to do is we're trying to get some of those homeowners to raise their hand because they might be interested in selling their home off-market. What this does is it gives our buyer clients additional opportunities to potentially purchase their dream home off-market at a below-market price. We run these ads in areas where we have buyers that are actively looking, and we also run it in general areas, just so we can continue finding more and more off-market opportunities for potential buyer clients. All of these homes ultimately get added to our secret list of off-market homes, and when you're a buyer client of ours, you get access to that, and who knows, perhaps your dream home is one we already know about with a seller that is looking to sell their house off-market. One thing worth mentioning about off-market home sales, we have never had one of our buyers purchase a home off-market that was not below market value. So it's safe to say that anytime we can find a home like this for you, you're going to save money on your purchase. The bottom line of all this, if you aren't working with an agent that uses this type of technique, you could be missing out on potential savings. In this video, we're going to talk about a secret agent network and how we use it to benefit our buyers. Welcome to the video. I'm going to share something with you here that I assume most buyers don't know about, and in fact, probably 90% of agents don't even know about. There is an agent network called the Top Agent Network. The reason why most real estate agents don't know about this network is because in order to be allowed to join, you have to be verified in the top 10% of producing agents throughout the area. Being a member of this Top Agent Network has benefits. One of them is it allows us to interact with other top producing agents from all the different brokerages in the area, and we can interact with them in ways that benefit our clients. The agents who are members of this network are those doing much of the real estate business throughout the county and throughout the Bay Area. In the past, this network gave us opportunities to find out about off-market opportunities throughout the area. Another thing we could do in this network is we can reach out to other top agents from all the different brokerages, and we can send out our buyer needs. So if we have a buyer who's looking for a particular property in a certain city or certain school district, we can send out a message to all the agents who are members of the Top Agent Network and see if they have any properties that are coming up that might meet your needs. Being a member of this network also allows us to keep on top of local market conditions and issues that affect real estate agents and buyers and sellers. In summary, it's just another way that we can potentially help our buyers win. It is very important to point out that none of the techniques covered on our buyer benefit website in our other videos, and none of the methods that we use for going after off-market properties, and none of the software that we've developed to help our buyers find the best opportunities out there are available to any of the agents that are in this Top Agent Network. All the methods and techniques mentioned on our website and through these videos are techniques that we have developed and we use exclusively for our buyer clients. The bottom line is most agents don't have access to this network, and it's just another thing that we use to try and give our buyers an advantage, and it allows us to better serve our clients. This video is talking about our $2,500 home buyer protection plan. Welcome to our video. Here at the Simone team, one of our top priorities is to make sure that all of our clients are as protected as possible. We want you to buy with confidence. We want you to know everything possible about a home before you purchase it, and we want you to be protected after you've purchased the home. So here's what we're willing to do for you. On any home that you purchase, we're going to make sure that you have all of the following things. We're going to make sure you have a professional home inspection and a professional termite inspection, a roof inspection. If the home has a pool, we're going to make sure you have a pool inspection. We're going to make sure you have a natural hazard zone report that says if your home is in an earthquake fault or a flood zone or a high fire area. All of those things we're going to make sure that you have prior to making a final decision whether or not you want to purchase a particular home. Having all of these things up front allows you to make the best decision possible when you're buying a home, and this way you also know exactly what you're getting into. After you become the new owner, we're going to make sure you have a 1-year home warranty. This can go a long ways to protecting you against unexpected things that could pop up when you're a new homeowner. If you add all these things up, it could be as much as $2,500. So here's the home buyer protection plan that we offer all of our buyer clients. When you and I are working together and we're going after a home for you to buy, we're going to make sure that the seller provides all of these things for you. In the event that they are unwilling to do so, then when you close escrow on this particular home, we're going to pay for any of these things that the seller did not provide. We want to make sure that you're fully protected before buying a home and after buying a home. And this is just another benefit that we give to all of our buyer clients. This video is about our Guaranteed Home Finder program. Welcome to the video. If you've been poking around our website, you've probably seen many things that we do to try and help our buyers find homes both on the market and a lot of ways that we try and find buyers' homes off the market. And we're so confident in our ability to do that and get you into contract in a reasonable amount of time that we're willing to have a guarantee that we can do so. So here's the basic summary of what our guarantee is. We're going to have you in contract on a wonderful home of your choice within 45 days of when we start working together. And if we don't, then ultimately when we close escrow with you, we're going to credit you $2,500. Now with this guarantee, there's only a few minor caveats. One is the clock doesn't start until you're pre-approved, and we also have proof of funds that you're going to use for your down payment. And the clock starts when you and I go look at our first home together. That's it. From that point on, we've got 45 days to get you into contract. Otherwise, we're crediting you $2,500 when we close. We want you to know that when we work together, we are truly motivated to help our buyer clients find a great home and do it in a timely fashion. There is an important note to all of this. Now, this is something that we offer to our buyers because we know sometimes buyers are very much interested in finding a home and they want to find a home now. The important note here is that we don't ever want any buyer to feel rushed. We will never push any buyer to make any decision about purchasing a home. We work on your time schedule and we're willing to work as long as necessary to find you a great home. Some people aren't interested in buying a home in 45 days, and so for those people, we never want you to feel rushed. Maybe you're just starting to look for a home and you already know that you don't want to purchase a home for 3 to 6 months. That's okay. On situations like that, this Guaranteed Home Finder program won't apply. If you are highly motivated to find a home, wouldn't you love to work with a real estate team this dedicated to making sure that you're taken care of and that you find a home quickly? This is just an extra benefit our buyer clients receive when working with the Simone team. We either succeed or you save $2,500. It's really a win-win for you. Here at the Simone team, we just want you to be happy. Welcome to our video. At the Simone team, we have a happiness guarantee for our buyer clients. We want all of our buyer clients to be 100% happy with any home that they purchase. To help with that, we came up with this happiness guarantee. If you buy a home with us, and if you notify us anytime during your first year after you've purchased that you're not happy with your home, we will sell it for you for free. We won't charge anything on the listing side, and we'll find you another home that hopefully you do love. In the 25 years that we've been in business, this has only happened once, but we always want our clients to be happy and for them to know that they can purchase with confidence. It's just another benefit for our buyer clients and how we at the Simone team help our buyers win. In this video, we're going to talk about the importance of interviewing your buyer agent and important questions you should be asking any agent you're thinking about hiring to be your agent. Welcome to our video. We think it's incredibly important for you to interview your buyer agent and make that decision with extreme care. Homes in the Bay Area are not cheap. You're investing way too much money to leave it to chance whether or not you're going to have a good experience. You want to make sure you're working with an agent that increases your odds for success. I want to be very clear about something here. There are a lot of exceptional real estate agents working in the Bay Area. Those agents are experienced and do a good job for their clients. At the end of the day, we are truly just advocates for home buyers and home sellers, and we just want to make sure they have exceptional representation. Our hope is that you're able to work with a great agent looking out for your best interest, whether it's with us or another highly skilled agent. But I would encourage you to take great care when you're selecting exactly who you would like to represent you as your buyer's agent. I don't know if you're aware, but approximately 80% of licensed real estate agents in the county did 2 or less real estate transactions last year. In fact, more than half of the agents in the county didn't complete a single real estate transaction last year. Just by the law of numbers, you can expect that an average agent usually gets average results. I wish that was it, but unfortunately, it's a little scarier than that, because if you think about average, what that means is half the time people are getting worse than average. Our hope for you and all our buyer clients is that together we can achieve exceptional results. I think one of the best things you can do to increase your odds of ending up with a good home buying experience is to treat the decision of which buyer agent you want to work with very seriously. We think you should be interviewing your buyer agent and asking them lots of probing questions so that you can make an educated decision about who you think gives you the best chance for success. We would like to help buyers with that process, and we've come up with a questionnaire filled with important questions to give you insight into what it would be like to work with a specific agent. In this video, we're going to go through these questions and I'll explain the importance of each one, and I'll also let you know what our answer is to those specific questions. If you'd like a free printable PDF of this questionnaire, you can request it on our website and we'd be happy to send it over to you. So let's start with the first question. How many years have you been in business? I think the importance of this question is rather obvious. You don't want to undertake such a large financial purchase with somebody that's brand new in the business. And so finding out how long somebody's been in business is pretty important. Oftentimes, years in business goes hand in hand with level of experience, although you'll see with some other questions that we have, you're going to want to dive a little bit deeper to really understand how much experience an agent actually has. I would say, generally speaking, you would want to be working with a buyer agent who's been in business at least 5 or 10 years. So they've had plenty of time to already have made many of the common mistakes, and hopefully they've got things pretty dialed in and can give you a pretty good result. In our case, myself and my real estate partner, my wife, Francine, we've each been licensed and practicing real estate for over 25 years. This next question is a very important one. You'd like to know how many real estate transactions an agent has personally handled. Related to the first question, it's not just important that you're licensed and in business. If you're not doing real estate transactions, you're actually not gaining experience. So you really want to know how many real estate transactions your potential agent has handled. When asking this question, you want to be very specific and ask them how many transactions they have personally handled. The reason I say that is oftentimes when you have an inexperienced agent, they will try to tell you about how many transactions their office has closed, or maybe their broker has closed, or maybe if they work with a team of agents, how many combined transactions their team has closed. All of those types of answers are simply trying to mask the fact that they haven't personally closed very many transactions. So you're going to want to find out how many they have personally done. The question I have here is how many you've handled over the last 12 years. You could choose 5 years or 10 years. The reason I don't say over your entire career is because, like in our example, you probably don't care how many transactions I did 23 years ago. And you're probably just more interested in what have I been doing over the last many years. So my answer to this question of how many real estate transactions I've personally handled over the last 12 years is that I've handled over 250 real estate transactions for my buyers and sellers. The next question you might want to ask them is, what their availability is like. Are you available 24/7 or mostly just on the weekends? A lot of real estate agents are really part-time. A lot of them have other full-time jobs. And that's important to know, because if you're really interested in taking a look at a new listing that came on the market on a Wednesday and you want to go see it during your lunchtime or later in the afternoon, you'd like to be working with an agent that has the flexibility to show you homes anytime you're interested in seeing a home. So it's important you check with any potential agent you're thinking about working with to see what their general availability is like. For us, we make ourselves available almost 24/7. I can't tell you how many times I've talked to clients past midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, especially when we're dealing with urgent contracts or burning the midnight oil to secure a deal for them. Another question you should ask your potential agent is, how many off-market homes for sale can you tell me about right now? Why is this important? Well, everybody can see all the homes that are on the market. All the agents, all the buyers can find those homes easily. In fact, you don't even need a real estate agent to find those homes. Those are the easy ones. To give yourself the best chance of finding an exceptional deal, you really want to also be looking for properties that are off market that might meet your needs. I think the average agent might not be able to tell you about any off-market homes, or maybe they know of a couple of homes that are not yet on the market that they heard about, maybe at an office meeting. But those properties are usually a real estate agent in their office who has a listing that is getting ready, it's coming soon, and it's not quite on the market. That's not really what you're looking for in terms of off-market homes. What you really want to know about are homes that are for sale that most other buyers and agents don't know about. So working with an agent that has a number of these can be very beneficial for you. In our case, at the time of making this video, we know of around 128 homes for sale that are not on the market. Here's what they look like on a map. You should ask any agent you're thinking about working with if they have any bank listings or if they know how to find bank-owned properties. In any market, depending on how things are going with the economy, sometimes there's very few of these, sometimes there's a lot of these. I can tell you that when bank-owned properties are sold, they almost always sell for a discount. So you'd like your agent to know how to find these and how to deal with the banks. I can tell you that here at the Simone team, over the last 10 years, we've dealt with over 100 bank-owned listings that we've sold or helped our buyers purchase. And we're pretty sure that's more than any other agents throughout the entire Bay Area. Here's a map showing you actual bank-owned properties that we've bought or sold with our clients. Each one of those pinpricks was a bank-owned property. You should ask any buyer agent that you're thinking about hiring, how many pre-foreclosures and distressed properties can they identify for you right now? So what are these properties? These are properties that have homeowners that are financially struggling and unable to pay their mortgage. So they might have notice of defaults filed against their property. They might have upcoming foreclosure trustee sales happening on their properties. And these can be some highly motivated home sellers that are looking to sell their home so that they can fix their financial situation. Some agents know how to find software out there that allows them to identify these opportunities for their buyer clients. And you want to be working with an agent that can find these homes for you. We do have such software, and I can tell you that right now in Santa Clara County, for example, we can identify 177 properties that are in pre-foreclosure or distress. You can see what that looks like on a map here. So what we personally do for our buyer clients is we can cross-check the type of home you're looking for, and we can look for matching homes that are in pre-foreclosure or distress, and we have ways of reaching out to those homeowners to see if they might be interested in selling them to you. When we can get them to raise their hand telling us that they are interested, then you and I are the only ones who know about that home for sale. That's the kind of thing that can give you a huge advantage when buying your next home. So that's why you want to ask this question of any agent you're thinking about hiring. You should also ask any potential agent you're thinking about hiring how many vacant unlisted homes in the county they can identify for you today and market to on your behalf. Homes that are vacant oftentimes are getting ready to sell, and your agent should be able to identify those before they go on the market so that in the areas that you're interested in, they can reach out to those homeowners and see if any of them are extra motivated and want to sell their home off market to you. We have some special software that allows us to do this, and we can run the software and it gives us the home addresses, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, and we can reach out to those homeowners on your behalf. When we run our software, this is what it looks like. Each one of these pinpricks is a home, and we can go after the ones that match your exact criteria to see if any of those homeowners are motivated and want to sell off the market. You should ask any potential agent that you're thinking about hiring if they have any software to identify homes that have liens or judgments filed against them. By liens, I don't mean mortgages here. By liens, I mean things like federal income tax liens, state income tax liens, mechanic liens, HOA liens, or legal judgments. Homeowners that have homes with lots of liens on them might be good candidates for someone thinking about selling so that they can pay off all their liens. You should be looking for an agent who has access to these types of homeowners so that they can market to them on your behalf. Here at the Simone team, we do have such software, and when we run it on Santaclaracounty, we can identify over 18,000 homes that have these types of liens or delinquent property taxes. Here's a map with all those homes plotted on it. Actually, this is only showing about 2,000 homes, and these are all the homes with liens and delinquent property taxes that are also non-owner occupied. So that means the homeowner doesn't live in the house. They might live out of the area or out of the state or out of the country. If we plotted all 18,000 homes, there would actually be 9 times as many pinpricks on the map. You should be working with an agent that can go after these types of potential motivated home sellers to try and find you your perfect home at a great price. Another question you should ask your potential agent is how many homes in the county have recently been inherited by the homeowners can you tell me about right now? These can be a great opportunity for home buyers. If you think about it, a lot of times when somebody inherits a home, they don't need that home. They might not even live in California. So lots of times in situations like that, the new owner simply wants to sell the home in the most convenient way possible so that they can collect their windfall. So you want to work with an agent that has access to these types of homeowners so that they can market to these homeowners on your behalf in the neighborhoods that you're interested in and for the homes that match exactly the type of home you're looking for. We actually have special software that allows us to do exactly this. When we run this on Santaclaracounty, we can identify over 5,000 homes that have been recently inherited. Here's what that looks like on a map. You want to ask any potential agent if they have a direct marketing approach for finding you off-market discount properties. What does this mean? Well, with a little creativity, a real estate agent can find out exactly what kind of home you're looking for, what neighborhood, what zip code, what type of home, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many square footage. And they can pull from the county records all the homes that match that criteria. And if they know how to filter that list, they can identify the homeowners most likely to be motivated to sell, and they can reach out to those homeowners on your behalf. If your agent can get some of those homeowners to raise their hands because they want to sell, it could be a great opportunity for you to find exactly the home you're looking for without any other buyer competition, and you can end up getting a great deal on that property. We do have such a direct marketing approach that we implement for all of our buyer clients, and it involves us reaching out to hundreds or thousands of homeowners who could be motivated enough to sell their home to you without ever going on the market. You want to ask any agent you're thinking about working with if they've ever used an online home auction to buy or sell a home for their clients. I don't know if you're aware, but there are some online home auction websites that operate kind of like eBay, but instead of auctioning off miscellaneous items, they're auctioning off homes. Sometimes these homes are homes that are on the market, on the MLS. Other times these are homes that never go on the market. Sometimes the homeowners that are selling on the auction are banks. Sometimes they're investors. And sometimes they're just regular homeowners that think selling their home on an online auction is a good idea. Let me give you a little tip. It's not a good idea for the home seller. Over the last 12 years, I've personally participated in over 100 online home auctions, likely more than any other agent throughout the entire Bay Area. And I can tell you it almost always works out well for the home buyer. And in my opinion, not so well for the home seller. So it might be to your advantage if you find an agent who has some experience in online home auctions. You should ask your agent if they use any high-tech digital targeting to try and locate off-market discount homes for you. This can be through social media, Facebook, Instagram, email, text messaging, a lot of different ways. You should make sure you're working with a real estate agent that is tech savvy enough to know how to use all that to your advantage. Here at the Simone team, that's certainly something that we do. You should ask any potential agent you're thinking about working with if they have any special software or techniques that help them identify good deals for you. That's something that would certainly be useful. We do have such software. I know a lot of home buyers like to look at homes on Zillow and Redfin, and one of the things that pops out at you when you're on those websites is that they have their own algorithm for estimating what they think the property is worth. So I'm sure you've probably looked at Zillow and you've seen a list price of a property that's on the market, and then you look at the Zillow estimate, the Zestimate they call it, and you see that Zillow says it's worth more than the list price, or Zillow says it's worth less than the list price. You should ask any agent that you're thinking about working with if they have a way to identify for you all of what look like the best deals according to Zillow and Redfin. This is not something that Zillow or Redfin actually provide to customers. It would be nice if they did, but they don't. So it would be helpful if your agent actually had a way of finding you the best properties according to those websites. Here at the Simone team, we did actually create some custom software that allows us to look at all of the homes that are on the market and compare them all to what Zillow thinks they're worth and compare them all to what Redfin thinks they're worth. And it allows us to actually rank the entire housing market. It spits it all out for us in a nice spreadsheet. You can see some actual data here. And what it does is it looks at every home that's on the market and it compares the list price to the Zillow estimate, and it calculates a discount according to Zillow. And then it does the same thing with Redfin. So we can actually rank the entire market based on Zillow, and we can rank the entire market based on Redfin. But since both those companies use different algorithms, we can actually combine those two results and rank the entire market based on the average rank from Zillow and Redfin. So how we can use this information is we can share this with our buyer clients, and they can find homes that they're interested in that meet their criteria that, according to Zillow and Redfin, seem to be very much underpriced. Then we can quickly go out with our buyers and look at those properties, and if they're interested, we can try and buy them before other buyers and agents even know about them. You should ask any potential buyer agent if they're a member of the top agent network, and can they market to all other top agents across all the other brokerages directly on your behalf. So the top agent network is almost like a secret network in the sense that most real estate agents don't even know that it exists. And why is that the case? Well, it's because in order to be invited into this network of top producing agents, you have to be verified to be among the top 10% of producing agents in the area. And so this is a collection of real estate agents across all the different brokerages that are doing the majority of real estate business throughout the Bay Area. When you're a member of this network, you can communicate with all those other agents, and you can, for example, send them requests for properties that match your buyer's needs. So if you're looking for a home in MountainView that's 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,000 square feet, an agent that's in the top agent network can reach out to all the other top agents and say, hey, does anyone have a property like this that could be of interest for my buyer? There's other benefits as well to being a member of this network. So you'd like any agent that you're working with to be a part of it. As you can probably guess, we are a member in this network. You should ask any potential buyer agent if they have a home buyer protection plan. Are they going to do anything extra to make sure that you're protected when you're purchasing a home and afterwards when you're the new owner? We do have such an offer to our buyer clients, and it can be worth as much as $2,500 to you. You should ask any potential buyer agent if they have any sort of guaranteed home finder program. You want to know exactly what an agent's going to do to try and find you exactly the home you're looking for in a reasonable amount of time. And if an agent doesn't have the ability to explain exactly what they're going to do and why they're confident they're going to be able to help you, then that could be a red flag. We do have a guaranteed home finder program for all the buyers that are working with us who are interested in finding a home quickly. And basically what that program is that if we can't get you into contract within 45 days on a wonderful home that meets all your needs, we're going to credit you $2,500 when we do close on a property with you. You should ask any buyer agent you're thinking about working with if they have any sort of happiness guarantee. You're really looking for, what is this agent going to do to give me the highest chance of having a positive buying experience? If they're not willing to do something like that, then you might want to look for an agent that does have some sort of guarantee. We do have a happiness guarantee, and you can find a video describing it on our website. Here's an important question, especially given the changes that have happened over the last year in the real estate industry, with buyers now being responsible for paying their buyer agent commission. You should ask any potential agent that you're thinking about working with if they have multiple ways of ensuring that the seller actually ends up paying the buyer agent commission. That right there could end up saving you a lot of money. And yes, we do have multiple ways to get the seller to pay. I also would strongly recommend that any agent that you're thinking about hiring as a buyer agent or as a listing agent, that you should look them up on popular review sites like Yelp and real estate sites like Zillow and find out what past clients have to say about them. So there's a pretty easy way to do that on Zillow. If you go to Zillow, you'll find a tab that says Find an Agent. If you click on that, you can enter in the name of any agent you're thinking about working, and hopefully it finds them. If it doesn't find them, that should be a red flag, but hopefully it finds them. And when it does, you can click on them and it will open up a page giving you details about that agent and their business. So if you went to Zillow and you put in my name, for example, this is what it would look like. You want to check here and see, out of a possible 5 stars, you want to see what kind of reviews this agent is getting. And then you could click on those reviews and it will actually take you to the reviews themselves. And you should really spend a few minutes and read through so that you can see the positive or negative experiences that other home buyers and sellers have had working with this agent. On Zillow, you can also see what Zillow thinks is your total number of sales. You probably want to work with an agent that's done over 100 deals, just so you know that they've got lots of experience in all sorts of different situations. You can also go to Yelp and put their information in, and you'll be able to also see what sort of reviews people have left on Yelp. So those are just a couple of things that you can do to find out what kind of track record an agent has. It's a really good idea to try and get some background information on an agent that you're thinking about working with. Before wrapping up this video, I'd like to propose a better way for you to find your dream home. Historically, most buyers and most agents have only thought about homes on the market when they're trying to find a home to purchase. When you're buying a home on the market, you're constantly competing with lots and lots of other buyers. This is what makes buying a home in the Bay Area so challenging. You're almost always guaranteed to be paying market price, which is normal, but a lot of times, especially if there's a bidding war, the buyers that end up winning end up probably paying more than market price to get the home. When you're only looking at homes that are on the market, it's a big challenge to find a great deal. After all, if you think something's a great deal, don't you think there's going to be 10 other buyers that also think that it's a great deal? Probably. If a home does come on the market and it's underpriced, almost immediately, lots of agents and lots of buyers are going to know about it, and they're going to rush out to see the home. Or if you go to the open house, it's going to be crowded with a lot of different families walking through the house, everybody excited about the house, and usually what ends up happening is there'll be a bidding war and it shoots the price way up over the list price and maybe even beyond the actual market value of that home. We do help a lot of buyers purchase homes that are on the market. I would say most homes do go on the market. It's very important to have strategies to go after these homes so that we can do everything possible to try and get them without overpaying. We do have some techniques like that to help our buyers. But here at the Simone team, we've developed more than a dozen unique approaches to help our buyer clients win. We have videos on our buyer benefit website that explain everything. The summary of it all is that we've created a number of ways to find off-market opportunities for our buyer clients by getting in front of motivated home sellers who have not gone yet on the market, so that possibly our buyer clients can purchase their homes off-market, giving them a huge competitive advantage over other buyers. What we offer our clients is really a culmination of over 25 years of coming up with technique after technique after technique to help our buyer clients win. Your home buying purchase is too important, and you don't want to leave it up to chance. In this brief video, we're going to give you some information that you might find helpful if you also have a home to sell. Welcome to our video. If you have a home to sell, the first thing I can tell you is that we can help. In fact, we've been licensed and helping buyers and sellers throughout the Bay Area for over 25 years. We've literally helped hundreds of home sellers get their homes ready, get them on the market, and get them top dollar. You likely found this video while you were looking at some of our buyer benefit videos on our website, howourbuyerswin.com. And if you've watched some of those videos, you've probably noticed that we have some innovative ways to try and help our buyer clients with their real estate needs. I'm happy to tell you that over the years, we've also developed many techniques to help our seller clients achieve their real estate goals. If you're thinking about selling your house and you have any questions, feel free to book a call with us through our website, and we would be happy to give you a free consultation to see how we might be able to best help you. Oftentimes when a home seller is thinking about selling their home, it's because they're making a move and they also might be looking to purchase a new home. We understand that in a situation like that, a homeowner might want to investigate their buying options first. Maybe that's how you found us. Maybe that's what motivated you to check out some of our buyer benefit videos. We also understand that if you're in the process of selling your home and buying a new one, it can be a very stressful situation. We have helped many home sellers through this transition, and we have strategies to try and make it as easy of a transition as possible. If you're thinking about selling your home and moving into a new home, and if your goal is to accomplish that with just one move, as opposed to selling your home and renting a temporary home or apartment while you're searching for your replacement home. We understand there can be a lot of anxiety when you're selling a home and trying to move into your next home. It can be a little nerve-wracking thinking of a situation where you sell your home, but now you don't have your next home purchased yet, and you're sort of in limbo. Obviously, in an ideal scenario, you'd be able to sell your home, buy the next home, and move one time from your current home into your new home without having to find a short-term rental in between. We do have some strategies that can be helpful for this sort of situation. It's often possible when we sell your home, we can get the buyer to agree to let you do something called a rent back. That's where we complete the sale to the buyer, but they allow you to rent back the property from them for a couple of months, giving you time to complete the purchase of your next home. So this way, when it's all said and done, you're basically selling your home, finding your next home, and then moving one time into your new home. You've probably noticed from our buyer benefit website that we have many techniques for finding you off-market properties, and it's possible we might find your dream home that way. Oftentimes in situations like that, the off-market home seller is a lot more flexible on the terms of the contract. So, for example, we might find your dream home off-market, and we can put an offer on that home and get into contract on it, and that home seller might not have any problem with us having that purchase be contingent upon the sale of your existing home. That's usually not a scenario that regular home sellers who have their home on the market will consider, because oftentimes in the Bay Area here, there's just too much buyer competition, and there will usually be other offers from other buyers to purchase the home that do not have a contingent upon the sale of your home clause in the contract. And most home sellers would probably take that offer over yours if yours was contingent upon selling your home. So what all that means is, if you're a person who is selling your home and buying another one, the unique techniques that we use to help our buyer clients actually can help make that transition a lot smoother and less stressful. You may have also seen on our website that we have a guaranteed home finder program. And what that program entails is that we are guaranteeing that within a certain amount of time, typically 45 days, we're going to be able to get you into contract on your dream home. So that's just another thing that could help with the overall timing of your selling your home and buying the next home transition. There's something very important that I want to mention. If you've been watching the videos on our buyer benefit website, you've seen that we do a lot of things to help our buyers purchase homes, sometimes at a significant discount. It's important for you to know that in all of those situations where we're representing buyer clients, we are not representing the seller. We are only representing the buyer. When we're hired by a home seller to get their home sold, we have one goal in mind, and that is to maximize the exposure of the home to as many buyers and as many real estate agents as possible, so that we can maximize the sale price for our seller clients. That's our responsibility when we have been hired by a homeowner to sell their property. So we have a whole different set of unique techniques, sort of a recipe that we use to accomplish exactly that. It's worth pointing out that we typically don't sell our regular home listings to our buyer clients. I think you can pretty clearly see that that would be a conflict of interest. When we're hired by a seller, we want to sell the home for the most money possible. When we're hired by a buyer, we want to purchase the home for the lowest amount possible. That's why we typically don't sell our listings to our buyer clients. If you think about it a little bit more, you as a home seller probably don't want us to sell your home to one of our buyers. The reason I say that is because what are the odds that the handful of buyers that we're working with would include the person willing to pay the absolute most money possible for your home compared to all the thousands of buyers that are in the housing market? It's pretty unlikely that that would be our buyer. So once again, when we list your home, we want to expose it to the thousands of home buyers that are out there looking, so that we can guarantee that we're finding the one person who's willing to pay the most for your home. In this video, we're going to cover some miscellaneous items and frequently asked questions. Welcome to our video. One question people ask us is, where do we work? Well, our office is located in San Jose, and you can see on a map here many of the clients that we've helped buy or sell homes over the last several years. Each one of these pinpricks represents a home. You can see a fair amount of our business is in the South Bay, but we also go up the peninsula and up the East Bay, and south to Santa Cruz and MorganHill and Gilroy. An important thing to point out is that all the tools that we have where we can identify motivated home sellers to try and find our buyer clients off-market buying opportunities can be run in any zip code, any city, any county. You might be wondering, do we have any lenders that we can recommend? Yes, of course we do. We have some very good lenders from several different banks and credit unions who all do an excellent job for our buyer clients. But I also want to point out that you're more than welcome to use any lender that you want if you're getting a loan for your purchase. Our goal as it comes to any potential lender that you might use is that, number one, they're giving you great rates and great service. And number two, that they're experienced and have a good track record of closing transactions on time with the least amount of stress and drama as possible. You might be wondering what type of buyers we work with. Well, we work with the whole range of potential buyers. We work with first-time home buyers. We work with people who have bought and sold many homes. We help buyers purchase condos, we help buyers purchase multi-million-dollar mansions. When we're working with buyers, it takes a lot of our time and energy and focus and even money out of our own pockets, like you've seen in some of these other videos. So at the end of the day, we really enjoy working with home buyers who are serious and pleasant. What I mean by that is they're seriously interested in purchasing a home, and they're also people who are simply pleasant to be around. We're going to be spending a lot of time together during this home buying journey, and honestly, life is just too short to be around unpleasant people. So we work very hard, but we also like to have a good time, and we enjoy working with like-minded people. This question comes up quite often. Do we work with investors? Yes, we do work with investors. We have helped many investors on real estate projects. We understand your needs. We understand your equations, your repair costs, your after repair values, and your requirement for a worthwhile profit at the end of the project. If you're an investor, visit our website, visit this link for investors, and follow the directions that you find there. As you've probably seen from many of our other videos, we do come across many off-market properties for sale, and some of those will be worthwhile for investors. Sometimes people who say they're home buyers ask, hey, can you just send us your secret list of off-market homes? And I'll take a look and see if there's anything on there that I'm interested in. Well, I'm sorry, we don't do that. It takes us hours and hours and hours to find these properties and costs us thousands and thousands of dollars. These are all homes that we're looking for and we're finding for our buyer clients. And it's pretty obvious what's going to happen if somebody asks if they can just get a copy of our secret list to check out. We're happy to talk with you. We're happy to meet with you for a no obligation appointment, see if we're a good fit for working together. And if we are, we're more than happy to tell you about all sorts of off-market properties. And more importantly, find you exactly homes that meet your specifications, your neighborhood, your number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, lot size, all of those things. This is what we do to help our home buyer clients. Some people ask if we're able to help them sell their existing home. Absolutely. We've been licensed real estate agents and brokers for over 25 years. And we've personally helped hundreds and hundreds of home sellers and home buyers. When it comes to selling homes, we have an amazing recipe that gets your home maximum exposure, which leads to you getting top dollar when it comes to selling your home. If you're selling your home and then you need to buy another home afterwards, we have strategies that can help you do that. We've helped many clients accomplish exactly that. There's different things that we can do that will make the overall transition less stressful and produce for you exceptional results. Feel free to reach out to us and we'd be happy to talk and let you know what exactly we can do to help you achieve your goals. Another question home buyers ask, how much do we charge? Well, if you're watching this video, my guess is you've probably watched many of our other videos where we talk about 15 to 20 different things that we do to help our buyer clients that you're not going to find with any other agents out there, all with the goal of finding you the best home possible at the lowest price possible. We've also been doing this for over 25 years. We've helped hundreds and hundreds of home buyers. So I hope with all of that, we can agree that if you were working with us, you would be in very good hands, and we have a very good chance of not just meeting your real estate goals, but exceeding them. My promise to you is this: our buyer agent fee is very reasonable, and it's likely identical to what most other experienced real estate agents are charging their buyer clients. On top of that, with all the extra things that we do to try and find you off-market opportunities, we even have the potential to save you quite a bit of money on your home purchase. It's also worth pointing out that we have multiple ways to still get the seller to pay our buyer agent fee. So yes, you and I will have a contract that says, I'm your agent and you're agreeing to pay me our fee. But what we're going to do when we're submitting an offer for you is we're going to put on the contract that the seller, in fact, will pay our fee. You might be aware that there have been some real estate changes with regards to agents and fees, but I can share with you that it's still often the case that the seller is the one who's going to end up paying the buyer agent fee. Most home sellers understand this, and that really sort of makes it the same as things had been in the past. In the unlikely event that a home seller does not agree to pay our fee in the initial offer that we submit on your behalf, we have yet another technique that we can use to get the home seller to pay our fee, and that technique is not something commonly known by other agents. I don't want to mention it here because obviously I don't want other agents to know about it. I'd be happy to share it with you if we speak. It's just another thing that we do for our buyers. If you are just starting out your home buying adventure and you don't have a real estate agent yet, then I highly recommend that you actually give it some thought and interview your potential buyer agent. You're spending a lot of money on a home purchase, and this is not something you just want to leave up to chance. On our buyer benefit website, we have a video that talks about how to interview a real estate agent who you're considering having as your buyer agent. In that video, we have a questionnaire with 20 important questions you should be asking any agent you're considering having as your representative. In the video we have on our website, we go through each one of these questions to explain the importance and why you'd want to know the answers to all of these questions. On our website, you can request a printable PDF, and we'd be happy to send it to you. If you'd like to talk about exact percentages, or if you have additional questions, feel free to book a call and we'd be happy to talk. By now, you've probably watched many of these videos on our buyer benefit website, but perhaps you're still not sure what you should do. This quick video will give you a few tips. Welcome to the video. Perhaps you're currently working with a real estate agent on your home purchase. If that's the case, my sincere hope is that they are an excellent real estate agent and they're giving you amazing service and they're going to find you a perfect home. We know there's many great agents out there, and at the end of the day, we truly are just advocates for home buyers and home sellers, and we really just want them to have exceptional real estate representation. If you're just starting on your home buying journey, or maybe you've been working with an agent a little bit here and there and they're not quite working out, or they're not quite showing you the types of homes that you want to buy in the price range that you're interested in, then there's one thing I highly recommend, and that is you should be interviewing your agent. We've created a buyer agent questionnaire filled with important questions, and you can get a copy of this on our website. We also created a video, and you can find it on our website, that walks you through step by step how you should go about interviewing a potential buyer agent and the significance of each one of these questions. Hopefully you find it helpful. And if you're still not sure what to do, we understand. It's a big decision. Selecting the right agent can make all the difference in the world. Selecting the wrong agent can end up being a disaster. It's a big decision. One thing you might be wondering about is, what exactly would it be like if you were working with us at the Simone team? Well, we created a video that walks you through step by step everything that we would do start to finish with you if you were one of our buyer clients. I highly encourage you to check out this video on our website, and then you won't have to wonder anymore. You'll know exactly what we're going to do to help you find a great home at a great price in the shortest time frame possible. The link's right here. Feel free to go check it out. Today's video is This Could Be You. I'm going to walk you through exactly what it would be like if you were working with us to help you find a home. Welcome to the video. This video is going to be a step-by-step guide of what it would be like to work with us as your buyer agent. I will mention that I'm not going to talk about who we are and what our credentials are. We have videos of that also on our website. Here's some links, and you can take a look at those if you haven't already checked them out. I also want to take a quick moment to mention that there are a lot of other great real estate agents working throughout the Bay Area. At the end of the day, we truly are just advocates for buyers and sellers, and we want to make sure that you have exceptional representation. So whether you're working with us or another great agent, we do wish you the best of luck. We do hope you can find the perfect home for you and your family. Here's what we're going to cover in this video. We're going to talk about our onboarding process, setting expectations. We'll touch on our home buyer protection plan and guarantees. And then we're going to talk about the execution phase of finding you a home and all the various things that we're going to do to give you the best chance for success. We'll briefly cover the escrow process. And finally, at the end of the process, it'll be time to celebrate. I'd like you to think of this video as sort of like a consultation. If you and I met somewhere at a Starbucks or at my office, at your home, and I was going to go through all the things that we do to try and help you purchase a home, these are all the steps and all the things that we would be talking about. So I guess it's kind of like a free consultation on your own time, in your own place, and at your own speed. But let's get started. Like most great projects, if we want to give ourselves the best chance for success, we want to have a strong foundation. That all starts with our onboarding process. The first thing we want to do is understand what's your scenario. Are you a first-time home buyer? Are you selling a home and buying your next home? Are you moving to the area from another part of the country? Are you looking for an investment property? Knowing a little bit more about your scenario and background will allow us to come up with a better overall plan that helps meet your needs. We want to know what your timeline is. Are you looking for a home ASAP? Or are you just at the preliminary stages and you think you might want to buy a home 3 months or 6 months or a year from now? Knowing that will tell us how aggressive we should be in trying to get you into a home quickly. Or maybe you're just at this point looking for a general understanding of what's going on in the housing market. Obviously, we need to learn about your real estate wants and needs. Maybe you already know exactly the type of home you're looking for, exactly the city, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how much square footage. Or maybe you only have a vague idea and you want to take this time to learn about different cities or different areas in the Bay Area. Obviously, in order for us to be effective at finding you things that might be of interest to you, we need to have some idea as to what type of property you're looking for. While we're onboarding, we want to make sure we create open and clear communication. So you're going to have my email, you're going to have my cell phone. I'm going to want to be able to get in contact with you, so I'm going to want to have your information as well. I'm going to let you know that anytime you have questions, I want you to ask. And also that I try and make myself available almost 24 hours a day, so you can text me or you can call me usually any night up till 11, 12 o'clock at night. I'm kind of a late night person, and I don't mind talking with clients after normal business hours. If you're getting a loan, we're going to want to make sure that you're pre-approved. We even have a step that goes beyond that we can share with you. And when we set our buyers up with that, it actually makes their overall loan situation much stronger, which is important because when we're submitting offers, if we're competing against other buyers, we want to be able to make our offer terms as strong as possible so that hopefully we can get a seller to choose us over other potential buyers. I'm going to review with you current market conditions and trends. This can be very general terms of various counties or the Bay Area, or if you already know exactly what city or zip code you're interested in, we have data that shows what's going on in all areas of the Bay Area, and we can dive deep to give you specifics about certain cities or zip codes. We'll be able to show you information like whether the inventory is growing or shrinking, if days on the market is increasing or decreasing, if the sale prices are trending above the list price or below the list price. All of these things are important to understand so that you get up to speed on the market and what's going on, and also so that we can make sure we're in the best position when you're analyzing homes that you're interested in. During this onboarding process, and really during the entire home buying journey, we absolutely encourage questions, and we're happy to answer anything you're curious about along the way. I'm going to provide you with a sample purchase contract. We can even spend a little time going through it, and I can explain the different sections to you and answer questions that you have. And if you're not familiar with the purchase contract, it's important that we do this up front and early on so that you can become more familiar with the purchase contract. This way, when we find a great property for you and we've completed all our evaluations and you decide you would like to submit an offer on this home, we can put it together and we won't have to spend a lot of time going through the basics of the purchase contract. And instead, we can just focus on the items that are specific for the home that you're interested in. All of this puts you in a better position to be able to act quickly if we come across a really good deal that you're interested in going after. I want to point out that we're going to operate at your speed and on your schedule. You might be very interested in finding a home and getting into contract as soon as possible, or you might be in the beginning stages of your home buying journey, and maybe you're not really interested in actually buying a home or putting in an offer for a couple of months. That's okay. We absolutely are not about pressure. You will never ever hear us say, you should buy this home. We know that when you see the home that's right for you, you're going to tell us. Our overall goal is not to sell you a home. Our overall goal is to provide you with an amazing home buying experience. Our goal is that your home buying experience is so amazing that in the future, when it's time for you to sell your home, you give us a call because you know that you want to work with us. And of course, we want your experience to be so good that you want to tell your other friends who are thinking about buying homes, hey, you should give Chris a call. He can take care of you. If you're working with another agent, hopefully they're doing all these things as part of their onboarding process as well. And if they are, they're doing a great job. Next, we want to talk about setting expectations. Communication is very important. The more open our conversation is, the more information you share with us about your goals and what you're looking for, the things that you like, the things that you don't like, all of that is going to make it so that we have a better chance of ultimately finding you the perfect home. We want to get a clear understanding of what your expectations are. After all, if we don't know what your expectations are, how are we going to meet or exceed your expectations if we don't know what they are? We'll talk about your desired purchase price and your approval amount, and then we'll take a look and see what you're looking for and what's on the market, and we'll try and decide, is this attainable? Is this something reasonable? Is this going to be easy, or is this going to be like finding a needle in a haystack? And we'll be very open with you in sharing our opinions about your real estate goals and whether or not we think we're going to be able to accomplish them. If you've bought or sold homes before, or if you've worked with other real estate agents, we'd love to hear about your past experiences. We want to hear about the things that you really like about those experiences, so that way we can make sure that we do those sorts of things. And we would also love to hear about the things you didn't like about your past real estate experiences, so that we can make sure that we don't do those things. Next, we're going to want to share with you what our expectations are. In general, our feeling is that if we know what your expectations are, and if you know what our expectations are, and we all talk about that up front, that gives us all a much better chance of together reaching your goals. We're also going to talk to you about the things we do with homes that are on the market and the things that we do with homes that are off the market that are for sale. And we're going to answer any questions that you have about that, and we'll let you know about the different things that we're going to do for both of these types of property to try and help you find the perfect home. Hopefully, if you've worked with other agents in the past, they've gone through a similar step with you about expectations and communications. And if they have, they're doing an excellent job. Next, we're going to review with you our home buyer protection plan and the various guarantees that we have. I'll touch on them briefly here. We have a home buyer protection program where we're going to make sure that you're protected with inspections and reports prior to buying a home, so that way you know everything that you can and everything that you need to know about a home before making a final decision on it. And then once you do purchase a home, we're going to make sure that you have a home warranty to protect you in the event that there's surprise repairs that end up happening during your first year as a new homeowner. Next, we'll talk about our $2,500 guaranteed home finder program. For buyers who are actively looking for a home and want to buy a home right now, we have a guarantee that says if we can't get you into contract within 45 days on an amazing home of your choice, then we're going to pay you $2,500. That's how confident we are in our ability to find our buyers great homes in a reasonable amount of time. We also have a happiness guarantee, which basically says if you buy a home with us and you're not happy with it afterwards, We will sell that home for you, and we won't charge you anything to do so, and we'll help you find another home that you truly love. You can find videos of each of these programs on our buyer benefit website. I encourage you to go check them out. Hopefully, if you've worked with other agents or you're thinking about working with other agents, they also have guarantees and protection plans for you. And if they do, they're doing a great job. Finally, we get to the execution stage. This is where we know what you're looking for, and it's time to start finding you homes that you might be interested in. The first thing we're going to do is use some software that we have and create an instant notification search of our MLS for you, so that we make sure that you and I see all the homes that are matching your home buying criteria. This is going to make it so that you and I will know about any new listings that come on the market that meet your criteria before most other agents and buyers. This obviously gives you an advantage. Next, we will review the current homes that are on the market that appear to meet your home buying criteria. What we like to do is see if we can find 5 or 10 homes that might be of interest to you, and set up a time that's convenient for you where we can efficiently go and look at each one of those properties. Doing this will be a great way for you and I to get to know each other better. And also, when we're looking at each of these homes, we're going to be asking you, what are things you like about this home? What are things you don't like about this home? And it's going to help us start creating a picture of exactly what it is that you're looking for. During this stage, we'll share with you some strategies on how we can help you win when you're going after homes that are on the market. We have a few different things that we do that will give you an advantage when going after homes that are on the market, that are on the MLS. And together we'll create a game plan for attacking these homes and any future homes that come onto the market that you and I get notified about. There's things that we can do to help put you in the best position possible when we're going after homes that are on the market and everybody else is also seeing. If you've worked with other agents in the past, hopefully they did something similar to this to help prepare you when looking at homes that are on the market that you might be interested in. If they're doing all of these things, they're doing a great job for their buyer clients. But here's sort of where we draw the line. At this point, most other real estate agents don't know much else to do for their buyer clients. If you've seen all the homes that are on the market, then the only thing left for you and those agents to do is simply wait for other homes to come on the market that might be of interest to you. This is truly the line, and where working with the Simone team brings you quite a few additional benefits. So what makes working with us different? Well, first, we're going to do all those things that we just talked about when we're helping you as a buyer. We give you immediate access to everything that's on the MLS, and we deliver results that come with 25 years of experience and hundreds of successful transactions for our buyer and seller clients. If the story ended here, we would definitely be able to deliver you some very good results and a perfectly fine home buying experience. But this isn't where we stop. So once we have a very clear picture of what you're looking for, we will find you off-market opportunities that other buyers and agents don't know about. We will find for you the home that you are looking for in the area that you are looking for, and we will find home sellers who want to sell their home and haven't yet put it on the market. This is truly the advantage that we're giving to our home buyer clients. We do this on a scale unlike any other. We use techniques that are not known by other agents, and all of these things are ways that we help our buyer clients win. The techniques that we use are not easy to implement, and they do cost us time and money. I'm going to share a bunch of those with you now, and this is where things get fun. We do all of this for our buyer clients to give you the absolute best chance of success. While I'm sharing with you all of these special techniques that we use to find you off-market properties, I'd like you to ask yourself, have you ever heard of these approaches before from a previous agent that you worked with or any other agent? If not, hopefully you can appreciate that These are the things that are going to give you a benefit over all the other buyers who are out there looking for similar homes as the one you're looking for. I want to point out that most of the examples I'm going to show you are only for Santa Clara County, but the tools and software and the steps that we use can be run on any county in the Bay Area and beyond. When you sign up with us as a buyer client, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to check our secret list of off-market homes for sale and see if there's anything that we already know about that potentially meets your home buying criteria. Currently, we know of over 100 properties that are potentially for sale. I say potentially because this list is very dynamic. Homes don't go on this list unless a home seller has indicated they want to sell their home. But things can change quickly. Sometimes the home might get sold, or sometimes they might decide to put the home on the market, or sometimes they might decide they're not interested in selling anymore. So this list is constantly changing, and you're going to see that we're constantly adding more and more to this list. We do try and keep it up to date as best we can, and we use it for our buyers' benefit. I should point out all of these are unlisted homes for sale. Specifically, they are not pocket listings. There's actually rules against having pocket listings that you're advertising. These are not coming soon homes. These are homes where a home seller has raised their hand and said, yes, we would be interested in selling, and we're not on the market. So how would we use this? Let's say, for example, you're looking for a home here in this highlighted area. This actually happened exactly for one of our buyer clients. They were looking for a home in central San Jose, and we asked them what their home buying criteria was, and we cross-checked to our list of secret homes for sale, and we found the perfect home for them. We reached out to the homeowner, we scheduled a visit, and within 2 days of signing up with us as their buyer agent, we actually were in contract on a property off market, and our buyers ended up purchasing it for 28% below market value. That was certainly a fabulous result for those buyers. You might be wondering, where do these homes come from? Well, first, let me tell you that this isn't a list that we buy from somebody. There's not a company that sells a list of unlisted homes for sale. Believe me, I've looked. And even if there was, they would be selling it to so many real estate agents and they'd be sharing with so many buyers that it would almost become useless anyhow. So our secret list of off-market homes is actually self-generated by us for our buyer clients only. You might be wondering, do other agents and buyers know about these homes for sale? No, they don't. You're going to see how we go about creating this list, and you'll understand exactly why in a few minutes. We only share our list with our actual buyer clients. I can tell you these are not coming soon homes. You might know that there's a category on our MLS where real estate agents can put a home that's coming soon on the market, kind of like a pre-MLS. That's not what our secret list is. It does not include those homes. And in fact, I would give you a warning about coming soon homes and tell you that they're usually not a good type of home that you should go after. The reason I say that is because those are homes that have been listed. They have a listing agent. That listing agent knows what they're doing. And they're in the process of getting it ready, which means they're probably really, really close to putting it on the market. So imagine if you're a home seller and your home is getting pretty close to going on the market. Well, for one, other agents and buyers are seeing that home, so other agents and buyers are already looking at it and competing for it. But if you were that homeowner, you would probably have the mentality of, the only way that I would accept an offer before putting it on the market is if it's too good to pass up on. So that would mean that somebody would have to give me an offer that's so good that I wouldn't want to just wait another week or two to put it on the market and expose it to all the buyers and agents and see what kind of other offers we could get. So somebody who's buying a home that's in the coming soon status usually has to give that home seller a very, very attractive offer to get them to agree to sell before they go on the market. That's why I say these homes are a trap. You might be wondering, can I get a copy of all these homes and the addresses? Maybe I can look at it, and if there's something on there that I might be interested in, I'll reach out to you. Well, for obvious reasons, the answer to that question is no. I think you can pretty much guess what would happen if we just handed out this list to everyone. it wouldn't work out well for us or for our actual buyer clients. You might be wondering, will any of these homes match my buying criteria? Well, I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't know what you're looking for. It may or may not match a home that's already on our secret list. But don't let that worry you, because finding off-market opportunities that match exactly what you're looking for is what we do. I'm going to show you several ways that we do that, and the key takeaway from all of this that I want you to have is that our main benefit is not our secret list of off-market homes. It's actually how we generate our list that's important. I'm going to walk you through several of those techniques, and I'm going to go through kind of quickly, so you might be wondering, can you learn more about these various techniques? Well, yes, you can. On our buyer benefit website, we have over 20 videos that share all kinds of interesting information with potential buyers. And we have about a dozen different ways that we try to find off-market opportunities for our buyer clients that match their exact specifications. On our website, we have videos that go into details on each of these different approaches. I've been a real estate agent and broker for over 25 years, and I can honestly tell you that most of these approaches, I don't know a single agent that is doing these things and offering these things to their buyer clients. And as far as I know, we're the only real estate team in the Bay Area that offers all of this. So let's continue, and I'll show you several different ways that we look for the exact home that you're interested in, and you'll also understand how doing so actually helps us create our secret list for you and our other buyers. We have some special software that identifies bank-owned properties in any county. You can see Santa Clara County here. There's currently 34 bank-owned homes in the county that our software identified. If you were looking for a home in this area, we can check those bank-owned homes against what you're looking for and see if any of them match your criteria. None of these homes are on the market currently. I can share with you that over the last 12 years, we've bought and sold more bank-owned homes for our clients than any other agents in the Bay Area that we're aware of. Here's a map that shows homes that we've personally bought or sold for our clients. Each one of these pinpricks is a bank-owned home that we either bought or sold for our clients. The next thing we'll do is check for pre-foreclosure and distressed properties. Now we have special software that helps us do this. Most other agents do not have this software, and it identifies homes in any county that currently have notice of defaults filed against them or upcoming foreclosure trustee sales. These could be very motivated home sellers. In Santa Clara County, there's currently over 150 of these homes when we're making this video, and oftentimes there's a lot more than that. How would we use this information? Let's say you're looking for a home in this area here that's highlighted in yellow. We can cross-check the homes of these motivated home sellers to the type of home that you're looking for, and we have a unique way of reaching out to those homeowners and maybe getting some of them to raise their hand saying, yes, we'd be interested in selling. None of these homes that are identified by our software are on the market either. In case it's not obvious, anytime we can identify an off-market property that matches your criteria and the homeowner wants to sell it, it gives you and I a very unique opportunity and a huge advantage over other buyers and agents, because you and I can go and look at this property and evaluate it and see if it's something that you're interested in. If you're interested in it, we're the only game in town for that homeowner. If we submit an offer, there's nothing for them to compare it against. We're not fighting with other buyers. There's no competition to try and get these homes. So for those reasons and a whole bunch of other reasons I haven't even told you about, when we can find motivated home sellers like this, you can sometimes get an exceptional deal. Next, we're going to use some additional special software that we have that identifies homes that have liens and delinquencies. Now, when I say liens in this sense, I'm not talking about mortgages. I'm talking about federal income tax liens, state income tax liens, mechanic liens, HOA liens. And when I talk about delinquencies, I'm talking about property tax delinquencies. And all of these homes are off market. None of them are listed for sale. When we run our special software, and I don't know any other agents that have it or use it, we identify quite a few homes. In fact, our software run on Santa Clara County identifies over 18,000 homes that have these liens and delinquencies. This map is actually only showing 2,000 of those homes. So if you were going to see all 18,000, there'd be 9 times as many homes on the map. That's a lot of homes. So how do we use this information? Well, if you were looking for a home in this area here, again, we would cross-check these homes against the criteria that you're looking for, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, things like that. And we have a way of reaching out to these homeowners to try and get some of them to raise their hand and say, yes, we might be interested in selling our home off market. Again, at this point, you and I are the only ones who know that these homes are for sale. So we will go look at them, and if you like one, we will evaluate it. We will run the comps. I'll be able to tell you, if this home were on the market, here's how much it would sell for. And at that point, the only thing you and I need to figure out, if you're interested in this home, is how much below the market value we want to try and submit an offer to try and buy this home from this homeowner. It's worth pointing out that in all of these situations that we're talking about, when I'm representing you as the buyer agent, I'm only representing you. I'm not representing the home seller. In fact, if I was representing the home seller, I would have to tell them, don't sell it to this buyer. Let's put it on the market. Let's expose it to all the buyers, all the agents, and you're going to get a lot more money for it. But since I'm only representing you, I don't have to tell them that. And my only goal is to try and get you the best possible deal on this home. I hope that makes sense, and I hope you're starting to see the power of finding these off-market opportunities for you. Well, it doesn't end there. We actually have some special software that can identify off-market vacant homes in any county that match your exact home buying criteria. Again, this is another approach I don't know any other agents that are using. And it's just another thing that here at the Simone team, we do to help our buyer clients potentially find exceptional deals. Again, none of these homes are on the market either. This software only identifies homes that are vacant that are also not on the market. You might be wondering, why is Chris telling me about vacant homes? Well, let's think about this for a minute. Why is a home sitting vacant in the first place? Maybe it used to be a rental property and the tenants moved out and now the homeowner is trying to figure out what to do with it. Maybe they want to clean it up and re-rent it, or maybe they're going to fix it up and put it on the market. Or maybe the owner just bought themselves a new home. Maybe they were upsizing because their family's growing, or maybe they're downsizing because their kids have moved out and gone away to college or gotten married and now they don't need such a big house. So maybe they already purchased their replacement home and they've already moved into it, and this home is just sitting vacant while they're trying to figure out what to do with it. There's a number of reasons why a home might be vacant, and you can probably appreciate that a vacant home is a potential home buying opportunity for you and I. One of the things that I like about this approach is that finding vacant homes that are off market is actually very difficult. It's probably why other agents haven't thought to use this type of approach. I think that's the main reason why I really like this software that we have and think it's so powerful. In Santa Clara County, we can currently identify over 1,600 homes that are vacant. And again, if you're looking for a home in this area, we would reach out to those homeowners on any home that met your home buying criteria. And we're hoping we get some of them to raise their hand and say, yes, we would consider selling it off market. Once again, you and I are the only ones that know about this property. And we already know that it's a home that might be what you're looking for because it's in the correct area and it has the right number of bedrooms and the right number of bathrooms and the right square footage. That's what's so powerful about these techniques, is that we're finding your exact home buying criteria off market. Homeowners with vacant properties might be motivated home sellers. That works well into your and my favor and could be a place where we find you a good deal. Here's kind of a crazy approach. Tell me if you've ever heard of something like this before. We have a way of identifying off-market properties that have been inherited by the current owner sometime in the last 2 years. The sometimes in the last 2 years part is important because statistically, most homes that are inherited end up getting sold within the first 2 years. We have some special software that identifies these off-market opportunities, and once again, we're using it for your benefit. In Santa Clara County, there's over 5,000 homes that our software identifies that we could potentially go after. If you were looking for a home in this area here, once again, we would reach out to the homeowners and we would see who's interested in selling before they go on the market. Now, this is a really interesting approach because I want you to imagine somebody who inherits a home. I would say most of the time that person probably doesn't need the home. They probably live somewhere else. In fact, we can cross-check all the inherited homes just like we can do with all the other categories that I've told you about. And we can cross-check the homeowners and find those who live out of state. So imagine there's a home in the neighborhood that you're interested in and had somebody who was living there and they passed away and their 3 kids inherited this property. And those 3 kids live in 3 different states all throughout the United States. For those new owners of this property, it's really just an inheritance windfall. From my experience, and I think you can probably appreciate this, a lot of times homeowners who find themselves in this sort of situation, they just look for the most convenient and easy way to sell the property. They might not want to get it all cleaned up. They might not want to fix it and paint and carpet and remodel. They might just want to have it sold quickly and move on. And also, there's nothing that says that this home that they just inherited isn't completely beautiful. But still, lots of times, people who inherit homes just want to sell them with the least amount of inconvenience as possible. That's why when we can get these homeowners to raise their hand, and now you and I are the only ones who know about this home for sale, and we go look at it, if it's something you're interested in, that property is ripe for you getting a good deal. Here's another method that we use at the Simone team. It's our direct marketing campaign to find your exact home. I can probably explain this best with giving you a real-life example from one of our buyer clients. So we met some buyers who were interested in finding a property in San Jose, in the Willow Glen and Cambrian area, and we agreed to take them on as clients. Let's zoom in on this area and I'll show you what we did for these buyers. So here's a map showing you the general area that they were interested in. So we used a combination of the previous techniques that I just told you about and a direct marketing campaign where we pulled county records through our title company to identify all of the homes that matched their exact criteria. They were looking for a home that had at least 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and was 1,400 square feet. So we used all our various techniques to find the most motivated home sellers with homes that met that exact criteria, and we identified 1,100 properties. You can see them on the map here. So then what we did was we reached out to those homeowners with the creative technique that we have, and we were able to get 7 of those homeowners to raise their hand and say, yes, we would be interested in selling our home off market. None of these homes were on the market. So that gave this buyer client an opportunity to look at 7 homes that met their exact criteria. It's in the right neighborhood, the right zip code, the right size, and our buyer and us were the only ones that knew these homes were for sale. So we went and we looked at all of them. They fell in love with one of them, and they ended up buying it for $155,000 below market value, and it saved them 14% on their home purchase. Now, there's actually something really cool that happened even beyond this, giving them an even better ending. And if you'd like to hear about that, you can find our direct marketing campaign video on our website and you can check it out. I should point out that all of these things that we do don't cost our buyer anything. These are all things that we do that cost us money to implement out of our own pocket. Not many agents are willing to do that or know how to do most of these things that I'm sharing with you. So this is a great opportunity for me to give you a little side note here. You remember I told you that we ran this campaign for our buyer client and we generated 7 off-market opportunities for them. Well, obviously they can only buy one of those homes, which means we had 6 extra homes that we knew about that were for sale that they didn't buy. So these 6 homes get added to our secret list of off-market properties for sale. So you can imagine we're doing all these different campaigns for all of our different buyers, and they're not buying all the homes that we find. So when we find them, we put them on our secret list. And then other buyer clients that we start working with, we can share those homes with them just in case there's something on there that meets their criteria. So now you see how our secret list is built. Here's another strategy we implemented for our buyer clients. Now this one is for properties that are on the market, and it's a way that we can potentially find you the best deals out there. We know a lot of buyers, when they're home shopping, they like to look on Zillow and they like to look on Redfin. And obviously one of the things that you see on there is the list price of homes that are on the market. And then you see the estimate. You see Zillow's estimate and you can see Redfin's estimate. I have a background in technology. In a previous life, I was an engineer. And when I went into real estate 25 years ago, I thought to myself, why don't I use some of those skills to find ways to create opportunities for my real estate clients? Specifically, I wanted to find ways to find good deals for my buyer clients. So we created some software that actually compares the list price and the Zillow estimate and creates a Zillow discount comparing what it thinks the home is worth versus the list price. This allows us to rank the entire market of available homes for sale from best to worst according to Zillow. We thought, well, that's cool. So why don't we also do it with Redfin? And that's exactly what we did. So we can rank the entire market of homes for sale based on which properties Redfin thinks are the best to the worst. Finally, what we do is, because Zillow and Redfin use completely different algorithms to come up with their estimates, we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could just combine all of this into one spreadsheet, and we use the average rank of Zillow and Redfin, and we come up with this list showing our clients which homes on the market appear to be the best deals. So for example, if you were looking for a home in San Jose, you might take a look at these properties to see that according to Zillow and Redfin, they're currently listed between 10 and 30% below what they think they're worth. If you and I know about that quickly, then we can rush out and look at those properties, and maybe we can put in an offer and get it accepted before other buyers find out about it, or before the open house happens and they get 50 or 100 buyers coming to the open house because it's such a good deal. Now, this is software that we actually created ourselves, so I'm pretty sure there's no other agents that are offering this. Zillow doesn't offer it, and Redfin doesn't offer it either. Just another technique that we use for you to try and find you the best deal possible on your home purchase. There's several more things that we do to try and find you good opportunities. There's a technique that we use with homes that are on the market and on the MLS that meet a certain criteria that allow us to use a strategy where we can get it for below the list price. I'd be happy to share this technique with you when we're talking or when we meet. It's not something I want to put out there in a public video where other agents could see it, because I only want this technique to be something that we use for our buyers and not everybody else. We will check many of the most popular online auction websites to see if we can find any off-market or discount opportunities for you that meet your home buying criteria. We have a video of this on our website. You can find out more details. In the last 10 years, I'm pretty sure that we have participated in more online home auctions than any other agents in the Bay Area. These auctions are not for everyone. They're a little bit tricky sometimes, but oftentimes good deals can be had on these auction platforms. We have a high-tech digital marketing campaign that we launch for all of our buyers through online advertising and social media. Again, trying to find homeowners in your precise area of interest and see if we can get any of them to raise their hand, indicating they might be interested in selling off-market. We actually belong to sort of a secret top producing agent network, which includes the highest producing agents from all of the brokerages throughout the Bay Area. It's an exclusive network that's not easy to get into. You have to be verified in the top 10% of producing agents throughout the area. And being a member of this network allows us to communicate with other top producing agents who are doing a lot of the real estate business in the Bay Area, and we can send out our buyer needs to see if any of them know about any opportunities that could be of interest to you. On our website, you can see a video where I go into more details about this. So let me ask you, how much do you think you could benefit from all of this? We provide our buyers off-market homes on our existing secret list. We go after bank-owned properties for our buyers, pre-foreclosure and distressed properties, homes with income tax liens, delinquent property taxes, off-market vacant homes, homes that are off-market that have been inherited, a direct marketing campaign to find precise off-market opportunities for you, our best of Zillow and Redfin software that can show you the best opportunities according to them that are on the market right now, potential deals through online home auctions, and high-tech online marketing that we do to find you off-market opportunities. Most agents and most buyers are only looking at the homes that are on the market. They're competing against hundreds of other buyers and agents. This is what we do to create exceptional results for our buyer clients. This is what we do to give you a huge advantage when you're looking for a home. And this is what we do to make it so that you possibly can get a home not at market value, but even below market value, saving tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars on your home purchase. Now, I guess I should throw out a disclaimer. I'm not saying that 100% we're going to be able to find you your perfect home off market. But what I can tell you is that I'm trying just about everything that we can possibly think of to identify opportunities for you so that maybe we can find you something off market. When it happens, it's a beautiful thing. This can obviously save you time, and this can potentially save you lots of money. I think it's probably pretty obvious and clear to you that other agents are not going to give you these sorts of opportunities at this scale. Oftentimes, right around here, buyers start wondering or start asking me, how much is all this going to cost me? As I'm sure you're probably aware, there's been some changes in the real estate industry regarding agent commissions, specifically buyer agent commissions. And now it's actually required that when you're out looking at homes, you actually are signed up with an agent representing you, and you have a contract specifying how much that agent is going to make if they can help you find a home. I hope we can agree that us having over 25 years of real estate experience, where we've helped hundreds and hundreds of home buyers and sellers achieve their real estate goals, that working with us would put you in pretty good hands. On top of that, I just shared with you a number of techniques that we use to find off-market opportunities for our buyer clients that you're not going to find with any other agents. I hope we can agree that working with us to find your home gives you a high likelihood of success. My promise to you is this: our fee is very much in line with what you would expect to pay other experienced agents. In fact, for the most part, our fee is probably identical. So please don't let that cause you any hesitation regarding reaching out to us to see how we might be able to work together. I also want to point out that we have multiple ways to still get the seller to pay our fee for you. There are some common approaches that agents use. Yes, we use those. But we do have one additional technique that I'm certain most other agents don't know about. I'd be happy to share that with you when we talk or when we meet, but it's not something I want to share here in a public video because I want to keep this technique for you, for my buyer clients. I want to keep this technique as a way to help my buyers win. I'd be happy to discuss this more over a phone call, and you can book that with us on our buyer benefit website, howourbuyerswin.com. So now we've finally done all of this execution. We've found off-market opportunities. We found the best deals on the market. You and I looked at lots of homes. You fell in love with one, and we finally got you into contract. So now we enter the escrow process. Congratulations, we're in the home stretch. The escrow period usually lasts between 20 and 60 days, just depending on what we put in the contract and what your scenario is and what the homeowner's scenario is. And I can tell you there's lots of moving pieces during escrow, lots of things happening. Some are obvious and some are sort of behind the scenes. There's deposits that need to get over to escrow. There's disclosures we have to finalize. There's inspections that might need to happen, appraisals, dealing with lenders and loan conditions, title paperwork, negotiations, more paperwork, getting all the final funds over to the escrow company, performing a final walkthrough, signing all the final papers at the title company, recording the property with the county, and finally getting you keys to your new home. We will keep you informed every step of the way in this process and try and make it as stress-free as possible. It's worth mentioning that experience counts when you're dealing with all of these moving pieces in escrow. For some buyers, getting into contract takes months and months, and now they finally have an opportunity to get their dream home. If any of these steps aren't handled correctly, if time periods aren't met, if negotiations don't happen properly, there's a potential for the whole escrow to blow up, sending the home buyer back to starting over to try and find a new home to buy. Because we've handled hundreds and hundreds of real estate transactions, that sort of thing doesn't happen here at the Simone team. In fact, in 25 years, we've never once had an escrow fall apart because one of our clients didn't do the things that needed to happen in the time frame that was required. Experience counts, and you're so close to the finish line that we want to make sure you get there. Finally, escrow closes, and it's time for you to celebrate. Among all the things that we do in our real estate business, nothing makes me happier than handing keys to one of our buyers on a new home they just purchased. My hope is that someday in the not too distant future, I get to do exactly that with you. This video is for those of you who are tired of bidding wars. Welcome to the video. I guess the first thing we should talk about is, what is a bidding war? Well, I don't know that there's an exact definition, but in the Bay Area real estate sense, a bidding war is a scenario where a new home listing goes on the market, and either because of the beautiful condition of the home, or an attractive list price on the property, or very low inventory in the area, it results in a flood of buyers coming to take a look at this new home listing that came on the market, and all of a sudden the buyers are fighting over it and they're each trying to purchase this house. Oftentimes in a scenario like that, the listing agent will set what's called an offer due date. It's usually a couple of days after the first open house, and they let everybody know that we want to look at offers the following Tuesday or the following Wednesday at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock. And they let all the buyers know this, and they let all the real estate agents know this. So then what ends up happening is that many home buyers submit offers on the property, and a home seller might get 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 offers or more from buyers who are interested in purchasing that property. Buyers who are participating in this usually understand that there's a lot of demand for a certain house, and so that's when they're usually offering tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars over the asking price, and they're all crossing their fingers hoping the seller will pick them. Well, then the listing agent looks at all the offers and presents them to the home seller, and then they might come back and do a counter offer to everybody, or they might ask everybody, is this your highest and best offer? And they basically get the buyers upping their offers and bidding against each other in sort of a war to try and win this property. Hopefully that gives you a pretty good description of at least what I would consider a bidding war. I'm curious, have you competed in a bidding war to try and get a home that you were interested in? Well, if you've bought and sold some homes in the Bay Area over the years, there's a good chance that maybe you have participated in a bidding war. But if not, I'm sure you've at least had family or friends or coworkers who have told you some stories about them and their home buying process and competing with dozens and dozens of other buyers going after homes that they like. I would say the worst part about a bidding war is that there can only be one winner. So what that means is all the buyers who fell in love with the house and dreamed about making it their own, all of them except one got brokenhearted and disappointed. So then all those home buyers have to start over and go and find the next house. I can tell you that Bay Area real estate is almost always competitive for buyers. Why is that? Well, the short answer is lots of people want to live here. Most people would say the Bay Area has beautiful weather, especially during the wintertime when much of the country is dealing with snow and lots of rain. Our weather here in the Bay Area is pretty moderate. Another reason why buyers like to live in the area is because of the close proximity to so many things. You can drive 45 minutes and you can be at the beach and looking at the ocean. You can visit the bay, you can go to the city. There's plenty of sporting events and cultural activities. We're just a few hours drive from the Sierras to play in the snow or go to Lake Tahoe. There's national parks that are within a short driving distance. There's lots to do here in the Bay Area. There's also a ton of high-tech jobs, good paying jobs. So this not only drives people to the area, but it gives them lots of money to be able to spend on expensive housing. Another thing that always comes to my mind when thinking about why Bay Area real estate is as competitive as it is this old real estate saying, they aren't making any more land. If you look around the Bay Area, there aren't too many more places where they can build new homes. So that leaves buyers competing over the existing homes that are here and on the market. And finally, here's a not so obvious reason and a little opportunity for me to nerd out with a little math. 16,000 divided by 575,000 is around 2.8%. What are these numbers? Well, using Santa Clara County as an example, there are approximately 575,000 single-family homes, condos, townhomes, and apartments. And every year, through our MLS and on the market, there are approximately 16,000 homes that are sold. So what that means is only about 2.8% of homeowners are selling their homes through the MLS. If you compare these numbers against other major cities and counties, even throughout California, but especially throughout most of the country, you would find that the overall inventory of available homes for sale in the Bay Area is significantly smaller than just about anywhere else in the country. So if you remember your basic economics, simple supply and demand, if the supply is low, there's always going to be a high demand. All of these things fuel the competitive real estate environment in the Bay Area. So you might be wondering, can bidding wars be avoided? That would be ideal if you're trying to purchase a home. So let's first talk about homes that are on the market, homes that are on the MLS. These are homes that all the agents and all the buyers know about. When a great home comes on the market or a good buying opportunity comes on the market, it's usually the case that a lot of agents see it and a lot of buyers see it, and they all go rushing towards that home to check it out and to see if it's something that they want to try and go after and purchase. You'll be happy to know that here at the Simone team, we do have some techniques to try and help our buyer clients go after homes that are on the market, even desirable homes, and possibly get those homes in a way that does not result in a bidding war. And when we do that, we can save our buyers some money on their home purchase. Sometimes our technique works. Other times, we simply have to compete with other buyers and agents if it's a home that you're really interested in. We've written hundreds and hundreds of contracts, and we've negotiated hundreds and hundreds of deals, and all of that knowledge and experience is used to your advantage when you're working with us. Let's talk about homes that are off the market, homes that are not on the MLS, but they're still for sale. If you've been on our buyer benefit website or on our YouTube channel, you've probably seen a lot of these videos, and you've learned about many techniques that we use to try and find our buyer clients off-market opportunities. Specifically, if you look at these videos, you will see a dozen different ways that we help our buyer clients find homes that other buyers and agents do not have access to. If you haven't watched all these, I encourage you to go check them out, but let me just show you one example. We have a technique and some software that allows us to identify homes in any city, zip code, or county that have been inherited within the last 2 years. This is one of many special techniques that we use, and I can tell you I've never once in 25 years heard of another agent using this approach. Using Santa Clara County as an example, we can run this in any county, but using Santa Clara County as an example, our software identifies over 5,000 properties that are not on the market that have been inherited by their current owners. This map here is not all 5,000 homes, it's actually only the homes that we also cross-referenced to see that the owner is an absentee owner, which means the owner does not live in the house. They live out of the area or out of the state or out of the country. These could be very motivated home sellers, and this is just one of the many categories we go after on behalf of our buyer clients. So what would we do with this information? Let's say you're looking for a home in this area right here. Let's zoom in. If you were one of our buyer clients and you were looking for a home in this area, we would know what your specifications are. You would tell us you're looking for a single family home, 3 bedrooms, at least 2 bathrooms, at least 1,500 square feet, or whatever the criteria is. And we would cross-check it to the homes in the area that you're interested in that have been inherited by their current owners. We have a unique way of reaching out to those homeowners, and what ends up happening is some of them will raise their hand and say, yes, we might be interested in selling this property, and we would love for you to come take a look at it. At that point, you and I are the only buyer and agent in the area that knows these specific homeowners are interested in selling. These are not homes that are on the market. In a situation like this, you and I would go visit the house. We would see if it's something that you're interested in. We would be able to evaluate it, run comps, see what it looks like this home would sell for if it were properly marketed and put out there for all the other buyers and all the agents to see. And if you're interested, then we can put an offer on that property. I can tell you, we would have literally no other buyer competition, no bidding war happening while the seller is considering our offer. I can also tell you that we've helped many buyer clients with all of our different techniques to find off-market homes. And every time we've ever purchased a home off-market, our buyers have gotten the home for a below-market price. Most of these techniques that we've created and used for our buyer clients are techniques that I have never once heard another agent using to help their buyer clients find their dream home. As far as we know, we're the only real estate team in the Bay Area who offers anything like this. I cannot think of a better way to avoid a bidding war than to find an off-market property that no other buyers or agents know about. And the benefit of these properties is even so much more than that. So what does it all mean? Working with us significantly increases your chances for a positive home buying experience. This video is all about buyer agent fees. Welcome to our video. One of the big questions that home buyers have been asking a lot lately is who actually pays the buyer agent fee? I'm sure you're probably aware there have been some changes in the real estate industry regarding buyer agent commissions. In the past, the seller pretty much always paid for the buyer agent commissions along with the listing agent commission. Buyer agent compensation is now a separate line item on the closing statement that can be negotiated. What we have to do now is decide how we want that to be paid. Do we want it to be something on the seller side of the closing statement, or on the buyer side of the closing statement, or a combination of both? So let's go ahead and tackle that right now. What I usually do for my buyer clients is I negotiate so that I get the seller to either pay for all or most of our fee. And here's an important point. We will always make our first pass attempt when submitting an offer to make it such that the seller is paying our entire fee. If they ever push back on that, it would usually be in the form of a counteroffer, and you will always have the opportunity at that point to decide before you get into contract if you would like to move forward on that home or not. I can tell you this, most home sellers still understand that they will be asked to pay the buyer agent fee. And most home sellers are still perfectly willing to do so. It's just like the old days. If a seller ever decides to reject our request to have them pay our buyer agent fee, we do have another technique to still get them to pay it. It's kind of an advanced technique that I'd be happy to tell you about on the phone or in person, but I don't want to share it here on a public video for other agents to hear. It's kind of like a secret weapon we have, and I only want my buyer clients to be able to get the benefit from it. Let me give you one other different worst case scenario. You've probably seen on our buyer benefit website that we have a number of ways where we try and find your dream home off market so that we can get it for you for a discount. If you've watched our videos on our website, you've seen plenty of examples of when we've done exactly that for our buyer clients, sometimes saving them 5 to 25% on their overall home purchase. Well, that would be a huge amount of savings for you. So let me tell you, even in that scenario, we're still going to attempt to get the seller to agree to pay our fee, and they will usually pay it. But if push came to shove and they said they were unwilling to pay all of it, or maybe they even said they won't pay for any of it, then you could decide if you want to pay my fee while purchasing a home at 5 to 25% below market price. I think your choice will be pretty obvious. Make sense? Feel free to visit our website and book a call with us, and we'd be happy to discuss this further and answer any questions that you might have. I look forward to talking with you. Bye for now. Stop by our website and grab our bonus sample pack. You will see firsthand the thousands and thousands of homes we are willing to go after for you. I think you'll be shocked when you see the extent to which we go to help our buyers win. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and letting me share another powerful strategy we use to help our buyers succeed. We're excited for the chance to work with you and would love for you to be our next success story. Feel free to visit our buyer benefit website and watch a video on any of these other secret techniques we use for our buyer clients. I guarantee you'll learn about some strategies you've never heard before from any other agents. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.